a home stance, fear the herd, or fly into the semis? Who wants it more? We'll find out next on Game Time. Welcome to the home of the Buffaloes. Baker High School gearing up to play in its first quarterfinal game since 2006. They face the McDonogh 35 Ron Eagles, who have won 9 in a row. Hello, everyone. Jeff Palermo along with Jason DeQueer, and happy Thanksgiving. This should be a fantastic game. The Baker Buffaloes certainly are the Cinderella of the Class 3A playoffs, the number 30 seed. They started the playoffs by defeating third-seeded Laranger, and then they defeated Iota last week, a team they lost to in the second round of the playoffs last year. For McDonogh 35, they opened up their playoff run by beating Mentorship Academy, and then last week they beat a very good Lake Charles prep team. Both of these teams like to do the same thing. That is run the football. This will be old school football tonight, Jason.
Yeah, that's right. And look, before we get into the X's and O's of the game, the first thing these coaches are worried about is you get this far into the playoffs and you had the Thanksgiving holiday and the kids went home. You want to make sure that they come back, haven't eaten too much. So a little different week of preparation for these kids because they weren't in school. But in terms of the game, they both do the same thing. They like to run the football. They've got good quarterback play. They kind of manage the game, got good athletes all over the field. What I think it could come down to, Jeff, is special teams. You know, Baker struggles a little bit kicking the football, and McDonogh is a little bit better in that department. So look for that to maybe be the difference in the game.
We'll also look for a couple of fantastic running backs in this game. Let's take a look at our key players. First of all, for McDonogh, Steveland Williams has rushed for nearly 1,500 yards. And how about Tyree Nelson, 24 sacks?
Yeah, and Tyree Nelson, let's start with him. He's the guy that is going to have to slow this Baker rush tackle down. They're going to really rely on him. He's phenomenal size, 6'2", 210. He can really run and had a strip sack in the last playoff game. And then Steveland Williams, you see him right there, 5'8", 165. He is just a load. He runs tough. And again, they're going to try to get him the ball as many times as they can tonight.
And again, for the Baker Buffaloes, they like to run the football too. Their top running back, Desmond Winded.
Yeah, starting with Desmond. I mean, again, good size for a running back and just a tough guy. I mean, he's carried the ball, as you can see, for over 1,100 yards this season, and he has gotten better as the season has progressed. And then you talk about Eric Randall, the coach's son, Eric Randall III. He's going to play on both sides of the ball, great wide receiver, and really look for some big plays out of him tonight.
Yeah, both teams will look to make some big plays through the passing game, but their bread and butter is certainly running the football. Quarterfinals of the Class 3A playoffs. Baker, the first 30 seed or higher to host a quarterfinal game since Huntington in 2003.
Game Time on YurView is brought to you by Louisiana Farm Bureau Insurance, ready to serve you with auto, homeowners, life insurance, and more. Real service, real people. ITI Technical College, your key to a better life. And by Peak Performance. At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete and everyone stronger, faster, better. Check out YurView.com for in-depth high school football coverage.
This throbbing neck pain was so bad it moved to my shoulders and was causing severe headaches. Then a friend suggested I choose Peak. 2 weeks later, the pain was completely gone. So glad I chose Peak.
Choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
Hey, Joe Martin here. You've seen our commercials over the years, and you may be wondering, what's in it for me? Well, ITI Technical College has been selected by Forbes magazine as a top 32-year college. But even more than that, the reason we do this is you. Our tagline is for a better life, and we mean that. For you to be able to have the life you've always dreamed about, to do the things for your family you've always dreamed about. And it can begin here, where we are dedicated to your success, because here at ITI, the reason we do it is you.
My shoulder pain got so bad I couldn't lift anything overhead. So I chose Peak Performance, and I can't believe how much better I am now. Peak really does get you back into the game of life. Choose Peak.
Choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
The Baker Buffaloes, the 30 seed in the Class 3A playoffs with a record of 7-4 after starting the year out 2-2. And they are facing the 6th seed in McDonogh 35 Ron Eagles, who have won 9 in a row, the district champs in 10 3A. Let's bring in the third member of our broadcast crew tonight, Kate Adams. Kate, welcome to the game, and how you doing?
Doing great, guys. Well, look, every football player and coach has a goal, and that's to practice on Thanksgiving Day, because being alive during Thanksgiving week means quarterfinal football here in Louisiana. It's been since 2006 that the Baker Buffaloes have been in the quarterfinals, but just a few years for McDonogh 35, who were in the quarterfinals back in 2016. Let's see what both Coach Randall and Coach Reese have to say about their programs making it here tonight.
Well, it's all about the kids. I'm an inner city guy, and I know how the struggle was when I came along playing ball in the inner city. And I just thought it was a good idea for me to try my luck at coaching, and I've been there ever since. Over what, 2 decades, 3 decades, whatever it may be. I don't keep up with it, but the kids inspire me to do what I do, and I was in the same kind of situation, and I just enjoy coaching these kids that I got at McDonogh 35 High School.
Well, I tell you what, it's definitely, being out of school for the Thanksgiving holiday, you have to put a schedule together that kids are not accustomed to, and you have to make it some kind of fun, too. So this week we were able to feed the kids, have a little fun, go to little different things and fellowship with one another, because this is big. I mean, I don't know the last time, I think it's early 2000 that the kids were able to do that, but those kids are grown now. So, these kids needed something to hang their hat on. So, but being in this type of situation at Scotlandville, Southern Lab, and now here, even at Northeast, I like the big games. I don't like district too much. I like to be able to coach in the playoffs because it's anybody's contest at that point.
Well, old school football is the theme for tonight's contest. Both of these programs led by stout defenses and a ball control running game, so it will be interesting to see what happens here tonight, guys.
There's a look at Coach Eric Randall. He's 20-23 at Baker. Former Southern University quarterback who led the Jaguars to the Black National College Football Championship in 1995, was a standout prep player at Glen Oaks High School. Here's the kick. The ball just kind of dies out on that dead grass. Eric Randall, the third, picks it up, and he gets it up to the 27-yard line, and that's where the Baker Buffaloes, averaging 10 points a game, led by this sophomore quarterback, Damian Knighton, who's improved each game. He's completed 58% of his passes, 1,400 yards, 17 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Smart kid, also plays basketball and track, and especially in the second half of the season, according to Coach Eric Randall, he's done a much better job when the play breaks down, making something positive happen. And that all just comes with maturity. We'll see how mature he is to handle the pressure of a quarterfinal game. It looks like they are doing all kinds of shifts, and actually they put Knighton out in the slot, and they're going to run a little wild buffalo here, it looks like.
Yeah, they're putting one of their best runners, Wyndon, in the Wildcat, and obviously he gets the direct snap. A lot of times you just want to snap it to your best runners, and doesn't get much there.
No, this is a good McDonogh defense. Tariq Jones on the tackle. Let's take a look at the Buffaloes offense. Both of these teams have really good offensive lines. Thomas Benton, Jalen Gross, and Dylan Cage. Those are 3 4-year starters on that offensive line. That's pretty impressive. And then the wide receivers, you can't forget about them. Pendleton has 5 touchdown catches on the season. Randall has 8 touchdowns. So they will run the ball. Kylie Clifton's a good running back, averaging 8 yards a carry, and then they'll try to pop one down the field on the pass. And this is Clifton with the carry, drags a couple tacklers. A flag comes flying in there as he got across the 30. We'll have to see what the call is. Our referee tonight, Randy Donald, and this crew is from the Monroe Officiating Association.
Face mask, defense, 5 yards.
So a 5-yard penalty on McDonogh 35. That is added to the run.
Yeah, let's see if we can catch it here. But this, yeah, clearly right there, you can see gets the face mask and hangs on to it.
Well, you're surprised that's just 5 yards.
Yeah, and doesn't let go. And so that is actually going to put, obviously, Baker in much better position since they had lost yards on first down.
Well, they got the chain set over there for first down. I don't think that is exactly correct, but...
Well, it can't be because they lost yardage on first down, and you take the run plus the 5 yards. I don't see how. Yeah, they're moving them back.
Now they're moving them around.
Yeah, I don't see how you would get 10 yards, at least by my math now, Jeff.
It should be about. Well, they're going to have to figure this out over on the far side.
You know, I think people get confused. When they see face mask, they think automatic first down, and it's not. And I bet you that was part of the confusion over there. You have different rules, obviously, at high school, college, and the NFL with regard to that.
2nd down and 2.
2nd down, 2nd and 2 for a first down.
So Knight now, only 5'10", 160 pounds. Running out of the I formation, Trevante Spears is the fullback. McDonogh crowds the line of scrimmage, and falling down to the ground is Wyndon. Right at the line of scrimmage will be 3rd down and 2. Jonathan Hudson, a 2-year starter for the 35 defense, the quarterback of that defense, on the stop. Let's take a look at McDonough's starting defense. The defensive line, we told you about Tariq Jones, Walter Robert, Kondo Salik, Tyree Nelson with the 24 sacks on the season. David Ellis is the other linebacker, over 100 tackles on the year. Jamarian Henderson, he's a 3-star prospect in the class of 2021. On 3rd down, straight ahead, and that's enough for a first down by a yard. And Baker will move the chains, our first down of the game. Desmond Wyndon, 5'9", 170 pounds, and he's quick.
Yeah, he is, and he gets low, and that's what makes him hard to see behind that line of scrimmage. And the good thing about that run, he's not trying to get too much. He understands the situation. I need to get forward for 2 yards. He's able to pick it up, and that's a smart running back right there.
Wyndon has been the workhorse for this Baker Buffalo offense. Over 1,000 yards rushing the last 3 seasons. And down on the right end, nice run here by Kylie Clifton, who Coach Eric Randall calls the heart of the team. He runs for 16 yards on that carry.
Yeah, you see just around the right edge right here. Good job there by the fullback pulling. They use the fullbacks a lot to get out there and lead block, and just a good design there. And I tell you what, both of these teams know what each other are going to do. And really, it's just going to come down to will, as we talked, and who's going to win that line of scrimmage battle, because both of these teams are going to run the ball right at you.
Yeah, winning the line of scrimmage is big for both of these teams. Back in that I formation, it is very weird in today's day and age of football. Nice tackle there, filling the hole is David Ellis. To see a team line up in an I formation, Jason, you just don't see it anymore on any level of football.
But you know, that's the type of formation Eric Randall played in high school and college. He ran that same formation at Southern Lab. As you saw Ellis coming from the defensive back position, just filling that hole, doing a good job there as you look at Ellis. And he's always won with that. And you know, he's turned this Baker program around, running this formation, and so he's going to stick with it.
Coach Eric Randall hired at Baker in January of 2016 as the head coach. He's also the assistant principal. Big run here from Desmond Wyndon, and Wyndon turns on the Jets. Touchdown, Buffaloes.
Well, if you want to know why Baker runs the football, you just got a glimpse of it. Ball never went in the air on this series, and they just said, we're going to line up, smash mouth, and you've got to make the tackles. Credit that offensive line. They really believe Baker offensive line has been the MVP this season. And you see there, I don't think anybody touched him. Good vision there by Wyndon, but credit those guys up front for creating those running lanes, and Wyndham's got the speed to exploit it.
He's been clocked at a 4.43, and he displayed it there. Now, Baker, they don't bring out the kicking tee, Jason. They don't even know where it's at. They run 2-point conversions the entire time.
Yeah, they do, and it's going to be interesting here
Fake the pitch. They're actually going to throw it. And open for the two-point conversion. Catching the football, Martise Covington, who plays linebacker and tight end for this Baker Buffalo team. And the Buffs are up 8-0.
Yeah, the reason I say it's going to be interesting is because they have a bunch of different two-point plays, and they didn't put the ball in the air. Here's the touchdown run. As you can see here, great kick-out block, and then Wyndon does the rest. I mean, with his speed, nobody's going to catch him down that sideline. And then the two-point conversion, they didn't put the ball up all series, and then on the two-point play, there they are. They catch them sleeping or napping right there and put the ball in the air. So they're going to have a bunch of two-point plays ready to go because, as you mentioned, Jeff, they do not kick extra points or field goals.
Good start for Baker in the quarterfinals of the playoffs. Last year they made it to the second round and they lost to Iota. The year before that, they lost in the first round of the playoffs. And then in 2016 and 2017, it was back-to-back 3-7 seasons. It's been a while since people have been talking about Baker High football in these parts.
No, it has, and I remember growing up here in Baton Rouge in the early 90s, and Baker was a powerhouse in 5A, and we used to play against him. Obviously, with some of the school districts separating, the school has gone down to a 3A school, and really has struggled over the last several years. But I tell you what, Eric Randall has come in here and really done a phenomenal job of turning this program back around.
Here's the kickoff, and this is actually going to got into the end zone. So McDonogh 35 will take over. And running the ball is what they like to do as well. They run it about 70% of the time. They have a senior quarterback in Manuel Armstrong, who's completed 73% of his passes. He's got some height to him, 6'3", 160 pounds, left-handed quarterback. Manages the game well, doesn't make a lot of mistakes. Has a lot of confidence, in the knowledge of the offense he's been able to gain is picked up over the course of the season. They run it up the middle and some nice moves getting out to the 28-yard line is the ball carrier. That is Steveland Williams, who's had a huge season. Track star, weightlifter for McDonogh 35. He's rushed for over 1,400 yards. Had a huge game last week. And the win for McDonogh over Lake Charles Prep, he rushed for 274 yards. Impressive. Second down and 7. They run it up the middle again and some hard contact, but Williams gets the first down. Let's take a look at McDonough's starting lineup on offense. Again, the offensive line. George Jackson is an all-state offensive lineman there. They call him the Pancake King. Terrence Jordan, a senior offensive lineman as well. And then the other guys are juniors. Caleb Duran, Kyle Cooper, Jiron Parker has really come on as of late. Wide receivers, Claudell McDonald, Dwayne Dales, the tight end, Desmond Carrier. Taj Johnson handles the fullback. You'll see him get the ball on some quick dives. 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line. Williams, another carry. That time he is tackled right at the line of scrimmage. Good job by the Baker defense. Getting his arms around him and bringing him to the ground was Trevante Spears, 33 tackles on the season, number 33. The other guys defensively on that line, Dylan Cage and Jalen Gross, go both ways. Trevante Spears, over 40 tackles. Martise Covington, leader on that linebacking crew, Eric Randall. And it's second down and 12. Not much running room again for Steveland Williams. They got him in the backfield and they bring him down. Dylan Cage, the tackle, 36 tackles, 18 tackles for a loss, 4 sacks, 6'1", 325 pounds.
Yeah, and you got to meet all 320 pounds of him on that last play. And this is what you've got to do with teams that want to run the football. You got to take them out of their comfort zone, put them in the 3rd and long situations so that they have to pass the football.
Now there's the correct starting lineup defensively for the Baker Buffaloes. Their defensive coordinator, Jeremy Smith, allowing about 18 points a game. Eric Randall, a 3-star prospect, 22nd best player in the 2021 recruiting class. On third down, they try a end around with Dwayne Dales and only a couple yards, and that's it for McDonogh 35, and then a late flag gets thrown in there. Let's see what this is all about.
And this could be huge. You may have made a big stop here, but depending on this flag, you could potentially give McDonogh 35 a first down.
Okay. Got a sideline warning this way. First one.
So just a sideline warning on Eric Randall's coaching staff. And
yeah, you can see well, you gotta find the get back coach. You know, because I know they all held their collective breath over here down on the side, and that's probably on Coach Randall. He probably just got out there too far on the field. I know he's hyped up and wanting to talk to his players, but you can't get that far out on the field.
Claudell McDonald to punt at the 19, a high snap, able to collect it. Decent punt. Let's see if it takes a McDonogh 35 bounce, and it certainly does. And a nice roll as well. And then McDonogh will fall on top of it. I don't know why they tried to jump on it as early as they did. They could have gotten a few more extra yards there.
Well, I think they thought it hit number 11, Kelly Thomas. I don't know if we'll get a replay of this. You see 11 holding his hands up like I didn't touch it. But it looked like it bounced off of number 11's leg, Kelly Thomas there. And
let's take a look at our keys to victory in this one. First of all, for McDonogh 35 and their legendary head coach, Wayne Reese Sr., who has 254 victories.
Well, it's cliche, but it's true. You always want to win the turnover battle, particularly in playoff football. And then Steveland Williams, we've talked about him. He needs to be special. He couldn't get him going on that first drive, but they've got to get him going. And then for Baker, the O-line needs to dominate. We talked about winning the line of scrimmage. They want to run the football, and then they just need to flat out be the more physical football team.
Well, it looks like they're going to say it's McDonogh 35 football. How about that?
Well, yeah. Watch number 11. He's sort of the up guy, and he's not aware of that football coming down. Watch right here, 11. And, I mean, that's close.
Seemed like the spin on the ball did change there a little bit.
But that's why they were jumping on it, and what a heads-up play to see that. And a good job by the officials getting it right.
Ashton Jones is the running back. Play action fake. Armstrong will look to run the football. And he gets about 3 or 4. Armstrong, he can run the ball a little bit as well.
Yeah, they kind of describe him as a game manager. He doesn't hurt the team. I know quarterbacks hate to be described as a game manager, but he's a very capable southpaw. I mean, he can throw the football. He's completed some very good passes this year, and he's got good size on him.
Second down, he only got a yard out of that with the football at the 20-yard line. Steveland Williams in the game. Taj Jones lined up to the right of him. Here's Steveland now, trying to get downhill. Boy, that Baker defense swarming around him, only a couple.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about this Baker football team is 6 or 7 of these guys have to play both ways. And what Coach Randall is doing is he wants the best players on both sides of the ball. And so that's going to force a lot of these players to go both ways for him. As you saw there, number 2, Jeremiah Bell coming up and making the hit. You just have to hope that their conditioning can stay up for a full fourth quarter when you're using these players 2 ways.
McDonogh 35 is 0 for 1 on third down attempts. Certainly 4-down territory with the football at the 18-yard line. They'll throw it. Armstrong's got time over the middle, right there in his hands. Touchdown, Run Eagles. Beautiful pass.
Yeah, and that was the tight end, Renwick Doyle, that again, when you start committing to the run, and this is what both teams will do, they'll do that play action on you, and a lot of times you're looking for the tight end, and that was just a perfectly placed ball right over the linebacker's head. You can see right there over the defensive back, just so that his guy can run on it. That was a beautifully thrown ball with touch.
Extra point try for McDonogh. David Green, and was that a fake? I had my head down there, Jason. I was looking at my notes, but they are stopped As McDonogh 35's Jamarian Henderson kept it.
We got another flag out there.
And it's declined. It's on McDonogh 35. So it's going to be a 2-point game with 3:49 to go in the first quarter. We'll just stand by here for a second just to make sure that there will not be a replay of that extra
After
point
the
try.
play, unsportsmanlike conduct this way on the kickoff.
So that will allow McDonogh to kick the football off at the 45-yard line. Nice throw here by the senior QB, Manuel Armstrong. And McDonogh 35 is on the board.
Tonight's Game Time keys to the game are brought to you by Visit Baton Rouge. It's not just the capital city, it's the hub of all things Louisiana. Find out more about all the Red Stick has to offer at visitbatonrouge.com.
Our slogan is real service, real people, and I think in these opportunities we're able to really show that. We call on our communities a lot for support, and of course certainly we have a lot of customers. It's a terrible tragedy, certainly, but it gives us the opportunity to give back. And the best thing about Farm Bureau is the people, and I think you can see that right here today.
Tonight's Game Time starting lineups are brought to you by Peak Performance. At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete and everyone. Stronger, faster, better. Choose Peak.
Nice catch into the end zone by the tight end for McDonogh 35, Renwick Doyle. And a really nice play call by Wayne Reese Sr. and his staff.
Yeah, Manuel Armstrong stood in the pocket off of that play fake and just delivered a perfect strike to Doyle. You see the tight end with teams who run the football, you see the tight ends get very involved in both the run game from a blocking standpoint, but then releasing and getting involved in the pass game as well.
So the 15-yard penalty, the unsportsmanlike penalty, allows McDonogh 35 to kick the ball off from the Baker 45. And you know my rule of thumb on this, Jason. Onside kick is automatic in my book.
Yeah, and you just got to be more.
Especially on this turf.
You got to be more prepared than the Saints were yesterday when you know it's coming. But I agree with you, Jeff. I like this call if you do the onside kick because you're still not giving up terrible field position even if you don't recover it.
But they never listen to me. End over end kick, line drive inside the 10-yard line. And this is going to be a decent return considering everything. Let's send it down to the field and Kate Adams.
Well, Coach Randall, right now, one of his main concerns is basically just keeping his coaching staff where they need to be. Earlier in the game, they got that warning. He does not want another one of those and really wants to cut down on penalties. Guys.
Well, Kate, you need to tell him he's part of the coaching staff. He was the guy that they were talking to. So, but I know Coach Randall got excited, but he's right. You need to keep them all back there. That's the get back coach responsibility.
Damian Knighton and Desmond Winden, the running back, at the 25-yard line, out of that I formation as Knighton gets underneath the center, pitch it out to Winden, and Winden bursts through there for a first down.
Well, thus far, Baker is winning the line of scrimmage battle here. You know, they're really getting some good push up front, and Wyndham is getting in behind those pads, and they're really exploiting it here. As you can see there, just see nobody's touching him before he's 4 or 5 yards down the field, just creating those lanes, and Wyndham using that vision to pick his spots.
This is a big Baker offensive line as they run it again on first down, and that time shut down by David Ellis. But when you look at the sizes, Thomas Benton is 280, Jalen Gross is 275, Cedric Shellmeyer, I should say, 260, Dylan Cage 325, Zavala Smith 265, and McDonogh 35. They have a defensive line that is athletic but not very big.
No, that's right. I mean, if you look on paper, Baker's bigger. But the issue is, Jeff, as I mentioned earlier, these guys are going two ways. So can they continue to keep up the conditioning basically playing and being on the field the entire night.
2nd down and 8. A little bit more of Wyndon. Walter Robert wanted the defenders to get a hold of him and stop his forward progress. A 3rd down coming up for the Buffs. 3rd and 5 as we're in the late stages of this opening quarter.
Well, and but for the 2-point conversion play, let's see if they'll let Knighton take a shot here. It's 3rd and about mid-range. See if they'll let him put it up in the air.
That was Kylie Clifton actually on that last carry for Baker. Wyndon is back out there to dot the I.
And Randall 3 has been quiet thus far.
They go to Wyndon again. Wyndon makes a nice move, a 1st down and more. Stumbles ahead to the 43-yard line.
Well, for most teams, you may be looking to put it up in the air, 3rd and mid-range, but for Baker, yeah, they'll run the ball on you at 3rd and mid-range because that's what they do. That was a great block right there behind the line of scrimmage. And Wyndon just again picking his great vision and picking his spots. That is not a good sign, though.
Well, he's a guy that's hardly ever injured, according to Coach Eric Randall. 71 yards rushing. Hopefully, he just has the wind knocked out of him.
That's what it looks like.
Clifton is the ball carrier. Instead, they give it to the fullback. I should have said Clifton is the tailback. Trevante Spears, who's got over 100 yards rushing on the season total, ends up getting about 6 there. You got to feed the fullback every now and then when you're running out of the eye.
Yeah,
but there's a holding penalty on Baker. And this is where it becomes really difficult for a run-oriented team. You start getting behind the chains, it makes things a lot more difficult.
Yeah, you cannot have that either side. When you want to run the football, and now you're going to be faced with the 1st and 20.
3 red, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, still 1st down.
You saw the hole right there in the backfield. It just becomes very difficult because you don't have play calls for this 1st and 20 situation. So let's see what they do here. I would assume they'll try to see if they can get some of it back on the ground and just try to fight and see what they can do on maybe a 3rd and mid-range.
Wyndon still on the sidelines for Baker and not much running room for Clifton as they were waiting for him. There's David Ellis again, who, according to the McDonogh 35 coaches, they say this guy will knock the stuffing out of you. Loves to blitz, over 100 tackles on the year. 18 tackles for a loss, 10 sacks, and he scored a defensive touchdown as Desmond Wyndon re-enters the football game.
Yeah, we saw Ellis already shoot one of those gaps and deliver a nice blow in the backfield on Wyndon. So speaking of Wyndon, he is back in the game, and obviously 2nd and forever here, so they're going to need some good runs out of him.
So, yeah, 2nd down and 19. And here is Wyndon. I think he gets to the outside, and he does. He's got the 1st down, spins away from a defender. Oh, what a nice run by Desmond Wyndon, who has an opportunity to showcase his skill set here tonight on television.
Well, Jeff, we already saw the long run for a touchdown, but this run here is the one that really shows me how elusive and quick he is as a running back. And the reason I say that is because he stops and starts. And that is the skill set you look for in a running back. He came to a complete stop around the edge and then accelerated back around the edge to beat McDonogh 35 to the outside. And those are the things you look for in special running backs, and that's a special one there.
Needs another breather. 17 seconds to go in the opening quarter. Larry Renwick finally chased him out of bounds.
Well, that was impressive. I mean, to be able to stop and start like that, that's tremendous.
Kylie Clifton, the tailback, he gets the ball. Good penetration into the backfield for McDonogh 35, and then he's cut down by Renwick on your final play of this opening quarter that saw the Baker Buffaloes score on their initial drive, and then on a punt where it hit a Baker player, McDonogh 35 took advantage of the good field position, scoring its lone touchdown of the game. And that's how the first 12 minutes ends, with Baker on the drive. The Buffaloes leading the Ron Eagles 8-6. Class 3A quarterfinal action from North Baton Rouge. McDonogh 35 from New Orleans. They don't have any Buffaloes though in New Orleans. We'll be back after this on Game Time.
Hey, Joe Martin here. You've seen our commercials over the years, and you may be wondering, what's in it for me? Well, ITI Technical College has been selected by Forbes magazine as a top 32-year college. But even more than that, the reason we do this is you. Our tagline is for a better life. And we mean that, for you to be able to have the life you've always dreamed about, to do the things for your family you've always dreamed about. And it can begin here, where we are dedicated to your success, because here at ITI, the reason we do it is you.
We're here at Podna's Barbecue, Louisiana's best barbecue. I've got the owner, Gerald Hopper, and you've got mouth-watering, fall-off-the-bone ribs.
Well, they're slow cooked, I can tell you that.
Perfect for game day. It's our tailgate spread. Half slab of ribs, 2 halves of chicken, and 2 pints of sides with Texas toast and barbecue sauce, all for $24.85. With fast service, dine-in or takeout, and 2 great locations, Florida Don Moore and Sherwood Forest at I-12.
Welcome to Monogram Express, a unique embroidery boutique specializing in personalized and one-of-a-kind gift ideas. Gifts for babies, children, ladies, and even men, we have you covered. Equipped with state-of-the-art embroidery machines, along with an experienced client-focused staff serving you 6 days a week. Check out the area's largest selection of letters, designs, and thread colors. We're your one-stop embroidery shop, handling personal, corporate, team, and school logos, and you're welcome to bring in your own items. Conveniently located at 2109 Veterans. Monogram Express makes your ordinary gifts extraordinary.
There you take a look at Wayne Reese Sr. He's been at it a long time here at McDonogh 35. 2002 he started as the head coach there. He's also been the head coach at Booker T. Washington. That's where his son is the head coach now. Also led Washington Marion out in Lake Charles. Thought there was whistles before the snap on that 2nd down and 8.
There were.
Jeff Palermo, Jason DeQuire, and Kate Adams down on the sidelines. And it's a penalty on Baker once again, their second during this drive.
Yeah, just a little early movement there. That's why they stopped it before the play was able to complete. And yeah, you talk about Reese. I mean, just what a legend he is down there in the New Orleans area. And you know, when you've coached the likes of the Marshall Faulks of the world, and you know, many other players that have gone on to play Division I, and you know, just talking to him as we were before the game. I mean, just a student of football and just wants the best for his kids.
18 straight years in the playoffs for McDonogh 35. They go in the air. Double coverage. Who wants it? Incomplete. They were trying to get the football to Jalen Pendleton, but there were 2 Ron Eagle defenders there, and it's 3rd down and 13.
Well, and this is probably the play to air it out on 2nd down, not 3rd, but really 2, as you mentioned, 2 35 players there, but that ball almost squirted through there and landed in the hands there of Pendleton. Very fortunate that ball wasn't caught in the end zone.
David Raines and Rashad Foley there. You look at Raines, he's a senior, 6'1", 160 pounds. According to the Ron Eagles coaches, they say the secondary is coming around. This McDonogh 35 team has played great defense, allowing 16 points a game this year. But over the last 7 games, they've only given up 65 points total. 3rd down and 13 out of the shotgun formation, whistles and flags before the snap. And looks like another 5 yards coming up on Baker. This would be their 4th penalty of the night.
Dead ball, false start, number 8 on the offense. Still 3rd down.
Taman Dukes called for the penalty. 4 penalties for 35 yards now for the Buffs.
Yeah, and Coach Randall's not going to be happy about that, because the only thing stopping Baker is Baker. They've had good drives running the football, and then you know they start sputtering with these holding calls, these false start calls. But keep in mind, Baker is in no way going to attempt a field goal. So they may just try to pick up some of this and then make it manageable on 4th down, because we know they're going to go for it on 4th down, and wouldn't even be surprised if they ran it.
Now we have a whistle. Looks like we're going to have a timeout by Baker. Baker leading it 8-6 early in the 2nd quarter. Let's take a look at the Class 3A bracket heading into tonight's action. Baker, the number 30 seed. What an upset to begin playoff action in 3A by upsetting undefeated Laranger 28-21. And then Jennings is the other Cinderella in this 3A bracket. And they're hosting Sterlington. Sterlington has defeated Kaplan and also Crowley. And then you take a look at the other side of the bracket. St. James, to me, is the class. Bruley, what a great season for them to get into quarterfinals. And then Madison Prep is way up there near the Arkansas border tonight, taking on Union Parish. But when we talked to these coaches, they really felt the winner of this game would represent the other side of the bracket in 3A, potentially facing the St. James Wildcats, who are trying to win their first state championship since 1979. Baker has won a couple of state titles, but that was a long time ago. 1947 and 1950 were the years the Buffaloes won state titles. McDonogh 35 has never won a state championship. Knighton is on the run, and Knighton is going to be escorted out of bounds.
Be careful over there.
And we'll see if there's a flag. Right at the last second, Ellis held up. He nearly looked like he was going to toss him to the track, but he thought better of it, and he's lucky he did.
Yeah, Knighton's got decent speed, but Ellis is just such a gamer, a good athlete. But let's see out here. Part of it, I think he thought he was going to slip and held on to Knighton. He gets slippery over that track. That's questionable, but good thing the flag was not drawn there and give Baker a first down.
Well, it looks like Ellis will sit out this fourth down play. Fourth down at about 16. Baker is huddled up here.
Man, so what you got in your playbook for fourth and...
Is Baker using another timeout? Yeah, that's 2 timeouts early in the second quarter. Down to the field and Kate Adams. Kate?
Thanks, Jeff. Well, Coach Wayne Reese from McDonogh 35, he actually has now 254 wins. He's actually only the 22nd coach in Louisiana prep history to hit the 250 win mark. He has taken MAC 35 to the semifinals back in 2012 and in 2016, but never to a state championship game. So I know that is one of his goals, to make it through tonight's game and get there. Guys.
Thank you, Kate. Traditionally, McDonogh 35 has been a 4A school. They're now a charter school, and their enrollment much different now that they are no longer run by the Orleans Parish School Board. And so they've moved down to 3A, and I think that fits them. They were always a team that was enrollment-wise 3A for the most part, but they always played up to 4A. Last year they went 5-5. I think 3A is really the classification for them, and it has shown. Here they are in the quarterfinals this season. So fourth down at about 16. Baker has used a couple of timeouts early in the second quarter. Knighton to throw. Pocket crumbles around him, and he is going to be sacked. That's another sack for Tyree Nelson.
Well, and that's a big play, not just because it's a sack, it was a fourth down. So they're going to now get the ball, obviously, where they called him in the grass right there. And so had he gotten rid of that football, it would have been taking the football over 10 yards further down the field. But again, good pressure here by 35, and Knighton's just got to recognize that and understand the situation and release it. Get rid of the football, because if not, you're going to turn it over on downs anyway.
Loss of 7.
See, in that situation, you cannot be worried about throwing an interception. It doesn't matter if you throw an interception down the field. Just got to get rid of it. You see him grasping his thumb right there. Hopefully he's not too nicked up.
Ashton Jones, the running back to the right of Manuel Armstrong, who's in the shotgun formation. And here is Jones off the left side, gets about 4. So when Steveland Williams is not running the football, they like to run it with Ashton Jones and Raymond Foreman. And defensively there's Martise Covington. 43 tackles on the season, a former defensive end, but they've put him at linebacker, and boy, does he do an outstanding job there. Really reads what the opposing guards are doing. He'll play in a couple of postseason all-star games to try to get his name out there for colleges. Run up the middle. Baker has not been a school that has produced a lot of college football players here recently, but Coach Eric Randall thinks they might have 4, 5, or 6 guys that will sign. And then, of course, you have Eric Randall, who will be a big-time recruit as a senior next season.
Yeah, you see there Baker just plugging those holes. They got some size up there on both the offensive line and defensive line, so that makes it a little tougher trying to run through those gaps for 35.
3rd and 5 for 35 at the 41. Jones and Williams are both in the backfield. Manuel Armstrong. Play action fake. Pressure on him. Can he get rid of it? No, he can't. And the Buffaloes corral him and bring him down for a loss of 3. leading the charge. Trevante Spears, he's got a couple of sacks. There is a flag, though. Baker's already been penalized 4 times.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, this way, number 62 White, that's his first unsportsmanlike.
And that's George Jackson, a guy they can afford not to lose in this game, or they can't afford to lose him. All-State offensive lineman must have done something at the end of the play.
Yeah, let's see. Obviously a good job here by Baker, getting some pressure there on Armstrong. But again, just like Knighton, Armstrong's got to get rid of the football. You got to understand the situation. You can't hold on to it that long. And let's see. Well, let's see.
Oh, yeah, that's an obvious call there, and play is dead. George Jackson, number 62, just knocked down
the pile. I did see that.
Knocked down a Baker player who was not suspected it. These McDonogh 35 players with the headscarves on coming up into the North Baton Rouge. Think it's a little chilly out here tonight.
Well, you came with your long sleeves. I got my short sleeves, so I guess, I don't know, maybe I didn't read the weather right. It felt nice and warm out there to me.
Yeah.
But this will be a good chance for Baker to get great field position.
Punting the football for McDonogh 35.
They've got him held up here.
That's a different punter than they normally have. That's Claudell McDonald. No, that's the regular punter. Excuse me. McDonald is punting it. Desmond Winden ready to return.
And Baker's giving him a lot of respect. He's a pretty good punter.
That's a decent punt. Baker stays away from it, and it's down at the 35. So with 9:39 to go before halftime, Buffalo's a 2-point lead over McDonogh 35. This is game time.
Tonight's Game Time starting lineups are brought to you by ITI Technical College, your key to a better life. Check out the stories behind the games. Visit yourview.com/Louisiana.
Our slogan is real service, real people, and I think in these opportunities we're able to really show that. We call on our communities a lot for support, and of course certainly we have a lot of customers. It's a terrible tragedy, certainly, but it gives us the opportunity to give back. And the best thing about Farm Bureau is the people, and I think you can see that right here today.
Tonight's Game Time keys to the game are brought to you by Podna's Barbecue. Slow cook, fall off the bone perfection, and the best baked beans in America. For more Game Time high school football coverage, check out yourview.com.
$9:39 to go before halftime. It is Baker leading McDonogh 35, 8-6. Game time on YurView. Thanks Louisiana Lift for their support of this telecast, specializing in customer service on equipment, rentals, parts, and training. Louisiana Lift has been serving customers since 1980. You can check them out online at lalift.com. Or you can call their Baton Rouge office, 753-5700. Louisiana Lift, they're always on call. Nice night for football at Baker High School. First time, game time / Cox 4 game of the week has been here in a long time. Yeah, it might be a decade.
Coach Randall was excited about that, man. Yeah. And nobody wants to call us. Nobody talked to us. Man, I know I'm doing something if Cox called and said they wanted to do the game.
Well, we are really glad to be here. Great atmosphere here tonight, and we're watching a terrific running back as well. And this is a different guy that they have out there, and he busts this one all the way down to about the 20-yard line. 45-yard run. That is Terrell Polk on the carry. Check that, Coy Milton. Coy Milton is on the carry.
Yeah, good.
This is the freshman.
Yeah, good misdirection again, and
flag or
injury down at the back, but good misdirection there and a good job by Milton just getting out there. And when your number is called as a freshman, as you mentioned, taking every advantage of it. But look, a lot of these kids have been playing since they were freshmen. Coach Randall doesn't have a deep squad in terms of numbers, so you're going to get just about everybody on the sideline is going to get a shot in the action.
There's a look at Jonathan Hudson, who is the McDonogh 35 player who is having a hard time getting back to his own sideline. That is a big injury for McDonogh 35. He's the quarterback of their defense. Let's take a look at Baker's schedule while we have a moment. Beat up on Northeast in the season opener, lost to Wassman, beat West Feliciana, lost to Madison Prep, who's the 4 seed in the 3A bracket. They beat Bruley, who's a quarterfinal team, beat Parkview Baptist, beat Glen Oaks. Couple of tough losses to end the regular season to Mentorship Academy and U-High, and then the huge upset in the first round of the playoffs. A 30 seed knocking off a 3 seed. And then last week they beat Iota. Final score in last week's game, 18-13. And another big run for Baker is Desmond Winden back out on the field. He's got a first down for the Buffaloes inside the 10.
Well, I'll tell you what, 35 has not stopped this Baker rushing attack as you look at Coach Randall right there. The only thing that has gotten them out of their rhythm is penalties, pre-snap infractions or holding calls. But, I mean, they have been able to smash the ball down the field just about all night.
12-yard run for Winden, who's having a huge night. First and goal at the 8. Winden gets another carry. Drags a tackler inside the 5. Got to about the 3.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with him. This Winden kid is really special, and I look at him and see as a player that could play at the next level. He's not the biggest of kids, but in today's game where you spread them out and you can put players like this in space, he's got an opportunity to play, and he's tough. When you run the football out of the eye, you're running at the teeth of defenses, so he's a tough kid as well.
9 carries for 118 yards as they mishandled the snap, but falling right on top of it is the quarterback, Damian Knighton. So they waste it down there. It's 3rd and goal.
Yeah, again, if it's not a penalty, it's a missed snap there. Let's see if we can pick it up here on the replay. The snap looked good. Quarterback just didn't grab that one. Sometimes you're thinking about where you're going to hand that football off, or if you're going to do something extra in the backfield, you just lose concentration for a second. Remember, only a sophomore playing quarterback.
Baker's rush for 176 yards. They give it to the fullback. Nothing happening. McDonogh 35 stands him up. Trevante Spears getting pushed back. It's 4th and goal. Tariq Jones, one of the defenders there for that Ron Eagle defense.
Well, there is no question what Baker wants to do. They want to run right at you, and you can see the little fullback belly play there and just trying to run right at the teeth of the defense. Jeff, normally you see quarterbacks who turn to coaches. They want to spread the ball all over the field and throw it all over everywhere. Coach Randall has a different philosophy.
4th and goal. Inside the 5. They pitch it out. Can Winden get there? Ron Eagles have it defended well, and they stop him shy of the end zone. And Baker comes up short. Good job by the McDonogh 35 defense. A nice goal line stand there as they turn away Baker.
Yeah, you got another player there. Looks like McDonogh limping off the field, but just trying to get Winden this time out in space and seeing if he can create with the pitch. Sort of the wide sweep play as you see McDonogh limping off. And this is a physical game. We've seen a couple players now go down with injuries.
And they already lost Jonathan Hudson, or at least he got hurt on that drive. So now deep from their own territory, Steveland Williams for maybe a yard or 2, and that's it.
But I tell you what, in a game like this, that is a critical stop for 35 on 4th down there, because it's an 8-6 ball game. When you grind the ball like this, it takes a while to score. Sometimes points are not put up there as quickly. So 6 or 7 points in a ball game like this is a huge deal. So that's a tremendous stop by 35.
And the inability of Baker to kick field goals hurts them there too. They could have at least came away with 3 points. Built a 5-point lead.
Very true, and we talked about that in the opening as well, that if there does come down to a field goal or an extra point, 35 has probably got the advantage here in the special teams department.
Ball right at the 5-yard line, 2nd down and 8, whistles.
They could delay a game here.
Or did McDonogh 35
Get
call
a timeout?
Yep.
Okay.
White.
So Ron Eagles used their first timeout of the second half. They're down by 2, but back in their own territory at the 5-yard line. More of Game Time when we come back.
When I tore my ACL, I didn't think I'd ever be able to play soccer again. My doctor told me how important physical therapy would be, so I chose Peak. I'm glad I did. Now I'm stronger, faster, better than ever. Choose Peak.
Choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
Attention to detail makes the world go round. At Baker Printing, our approach to the printing business is very simple. Treat it as if it were your own. That's not always an easy job, but it comes from the top down in our company. We thrive on the unique jobs. Bottom line, we take care of our customers' projects as if they were our very own. At Baker Printing, attention to detail makes our world go round.
Exercising is my life, so when I had to stop because of my foot and ankle pain, I was absolutely devastated. I chose Peak and they taught me how to relieve the pain. They really do bring out the athlete in everyone. Choose Peak.
Choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
Back at Baker High School, Jeff Palermo, Jason DeQuire, and Kate Adams. Quarterfinal action in the Class 3A playoffs. McDonogh 35 trailing by 2 points, just 37 yards of total offense so far for the Ron Eagles, so lucky that they're only down by 2. Hand off to the fullback on the I formation, getting a couple is Ashton Jones. Meanwhile, Baker has 176 yards of offense on 21 plays. The big play right now for McDonogh 35 was on the punt, where it hit a Baker Buffalo, giving McDonogh 35 some good field position, and they took advantage of it with a touchdown pass.
And this is a big play for 35 right here. You really need to convert on 3rd down here so that you can get your offense and get it, try to moving down the field. If you give Baker the ball back right here, they'll have great field position, and they really haven't been stopped tonight.
McDonogh 35 0 for 2 on 3rd downs and make it 0 for 3. Nothing happening with that run with Steveland Williams. Buffalo's all over it. A 3-and-out, and Baker should get fantastic field position. As you look at our referee, Randy Donald, there is a flag on the field. Is that right? I don't think so. There is no flag on the field.
Well, let's see. Yeah, there is. There's a little hanky there.
Yeah, it's not a flag, though.
So again, good stop here by Baker. And now they're going to have tremendous field position. A little surprised they didn't, but I understand 8-6 game. I think Coach Reese is playing it safe. There's some movement there, a lot of movement before the snap. I think this is going to push McDonogh back even further.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, still 4th down. Be half the distance to the goal.
And number 1, Wyndon, he's lined up way too deep. That's why they're not able to catch the football, Jeff. A lot of times we say, well, why don't they catch? I know he's a good punter there, but if you catch this ball on the fly, you're really able to make something happen. But let's see here. I just think that he needs to be about 5 to 10 yards closer here, particularly when the punter is punting out of the end zone. He's not going to have a lot of time to punt the football. There he goes. He's moving up some. I guess they're hearing me, Jeff.
Somebody finally listens to Jason. Williams has to
but
really...
you see, look, it's still going to drop right in front of him. See, that's where he needs to be to field the ball. He just lost his team almost 15 yards right there. If you just go up another 5 yards, you fair catch it, and you got great field position.
Don't miss any of the action this season. Go to YurView.com/football and sign up for the Game Time newsletter. Get the previous week's highlights, stories, and recruiting news, along with a preview of the upcoming week's matchups delivered straight to your inbox. Again, that's YurView.com/football. At the 38-yard line for the Baker Buffaloes. 33-yard punt. Baker up by 2, 4:31 to go before halftime.
Well, you know, Baker's thinking, hey, don't beat ourselves on this drive. Let's see if we can have a good drive, no penalties, no fumbles. Let's keep it clean.
From the 38. And another nice run from Desmond Winden. And it's another first down run, it appears, for the Buffalo running back. Let's go down to the field and Kate Adams.
Well, Jeff, the MAC 35 defense has actually only allowed 11 points in their past 9 games, basically on this 9-game win streak. So let's see if they can kind of get back and get that defense going again here in tonight's game, guys.
Yeah, they've just done an outstanding job defensively this season. As you look at Coach Wayne Reese Sr., really played a tough schedule to begin the year against St. Aug, Edna Carr, and Thibodeau. Lost those 3 games, and the feeling is that they always start off slow anyway, so why don't they just play some really good teams, and if they end up maybe winning one of those games, great. If not, eventually they'll get it going, and they did turn it around, and they won their district championship in 10-3A.
Yeah, giving up 11 points over the last, I mean, in today's offenses, I mean, not counting the Baker-type offenses, but they see a lot of spread teams down there in New Orleans using their speed, and that's phenomenal to only give up those few points.
Finished the regular season by beating Booker T. Washington 29-19, and that game's significant because Coach Reese's son, Wayne Reese Jr., coaches at Booker T. Washington. 2nd down and 6. Just over 3 minutes to go. And this is Kylie Clifton. Clifton for maybe 3.
Yeah, again, they're just lining up. They're really, they're running behind number 33 Spears, but that time Jamarian Henderson came in and really made a good play there off the edge. But, they're just running behind those big fullbacks that are lead blocking, and it's been very difficult. Watch big number 33 here pull and just get something there, and then Henderson able to shed a tackler and come in and make a play. That's a great play there by Henderson, handling a much, much bigger offensive lineman.
52 tackles, a 3-star recruit in the 2021 class. They're going to throw it on 3rd down. They got the screen. They try to set it up, but not happening at all. David Ellis, along with Tyree Nelson, quickly converge on Coy Milton, and it's a loss of about 6, and it'll bring up 4th down for Baker.
Well, number 8, David Ellis, he's just a ball player. Look, he is by the line of scrimmage of the football, and watch how fast, obviously, 45 able to get there and get over there and make a play. That's Tyree Nelson, but between those two guys, Tyree Nelson and David Ellis, those guys are just tremendous football players. They fly around there and they make plays.
Baker on the verge of squandering really good field position. 4th and 9 at the 27-yard line. They got too many guys on the field. There's 12 guys out there. And there's a 5-yard penalty on Baker.
Well, I was saying, Jeff, Baker wanted to have a good, clean drive, no penalties. And there it is. And obviously this is going to make a 4th down attempt even more difficult here.
Eric Randall needs to tell his guys, hey guys, let's just settle down here. Let's get back to what we did on that first drive of the night where they looked so clean and getting down and scoring a touchdown. Of course, the long run, Desmond Winden on the TD run. Wayne Reese Sr., he's coached in plenty of big games during his coaching career. And now Baker uses its last timeout with 1:35 to go before halftime.
This is a good time to burn it because obviously you want to make sure you don't get in trouble like you did last time where Knighton took a big sack and gave 35 great field position. So want to try to dial up something and probably dial up something that you can complete and at least run a little bit of clock to limit how much time you give 35 if you don't pick up the first down here.
Let's take a look at McDonogh 35. I told you about that tough stretch to begin the season. Losing to St. Aug, Edna Carr, Thibodeau. And then they nearly lost in week 4 and 5 to Carver and West St. John. They won those 2 games by a combined 5 points, but eventually kicked it into gear, winning their district with Douglas, Wright, Booker T. Washington, just 3 teams in their district, or 4 teams, including McDonogh 35. And then in the first round of the playoffs, beat Baker's rival or district rival, Mentorship Academy, who got into the playoffs for the first time this year. And then beat a really good Lake Charles Prep team last week. That Lake Charles Prep team, they got some Division I prospects on that squad, and they beat them 22-14. Fourth down at about 14 as Knighton will throw it over the middle. Intercepted. Picked off on the play, and McDonogh 35 taking it the other way. Steveland Williams playing a little defense, gets the interception, a 19-yard return, and the Ron Eagles have the football at about the 40-yard line.
Well, I like the idea by Baker, but just a better defensive play. They tried to run a little slant route and try to make an easy throw for Knighton across the middle, as you see right here, and the ball just a little bit behind, trying to catch Wyndon. That ball needed to be more out in front, but just a good job there by Williams, jumping out in front of the football, making an interception. Hey, and that's your running back who picks it off, so you know he can run the football, and giving them an opportunity at least here with about a minute and 25 to go.
From their own 40-yard line, Armstrong barking out the signals. He'll throw it, dumps it off, and moving downfield, that's Dwayne Dales, and Dales gets out of bounds. A first down for McDonogh. 35 for about 14 yards to the 47.
Well, that was a great first down pass play there, and you know, I would like to see 35. I think 35 can do a little bit more of that. You know, Baker, I think, is a little bit more limited, but I think Armstrong has the ability to hit some of these guys out on the flank and let some of these skill players make some moves in space.
McDonogh 35 started the season 50-50 run-pass ratio. They're now more 70-30 run-pass ratio in favor of the run. Armstrong going deep. His receiver breaks free, but it's too far for Torrey Chambers.
Yeah, you see the Armstrong there going in and getting the play. And let's see, he airs us out here, and looks like 14 may have had his shots. That was Bester there that looked like they were trying to get the ball into.
Torrey Chambers is who I got. Number 14.
Oh, okay, I'm going with you.
Second down and 10. 4 wide receivers again. Armstrong, no one open, so now he runs. And he just heaves that one out of bounds. So 3rd and 10 with 62 seconds to go before halftime.
Well, now the deal is, look, if you don't, you've thrown a couple and there've been some quick incompletions here. You know, if you don't convert, then you give Baker time, believe it or not, on the clock to maybe try to do something. They've only spent a few seconds of this clock here since they've gotten the ball.
35 is 1 of 4 on 3rd downs. Armstrong feeling some pressure from behind, and he goes down.
But
Big sack.
Big sack, but Baker cannot stop the clock, so they're out of timeouts.
Colby Neff on the sack, his 7th of the year, a senior defensive lineman. Watch him come around the edge. Got past Terrence Jordan, one of their best offensive tackles.
Yeah, just beat his man on the edge, and a good sack there, and now the clock's going to run. So 35 is going to be very patient here because they have no reason to be in a hurry. Baker can't stop the clock, and so now Baker just needs to be careful. You know, they've already seen a punt here, knock off of one of their players, and a big turnover.
Fake punt. And on the fake punt, there's not much happening there. It is quickly covered up. Dwayne Dales took the direct snap. He only got a yard, and so with 14 seconds left, Baker has a couple of shots at it, I guess, considering they're not much of a throwing team, but we'll see what they can do with it, with the ball at around midfield.
Yeah, you know, it caught me by surprise, the fake punt, but I do question the type of fake punt it was. It was a little pitch to the back there, and I just don't know how he was going to pick up that much yardage.
Yeah, he had a long way to go to get the first down.
Running the football. I think it caught people by surprise, but you can see the alignment there. I mean, that's going to be tough to get 13, 14 yards on a fake like that. Had they been willing to throw the football, you might have had a better opportunity there.
So 4 wide receivers. Let's see if Damian Knighton can wind up and throw one downfield. Might be a little hook and lateral, and that's exactly what it is. Desmond Winded brought down at the 40. That should be your final play of the quarter.
The clock stopped for some reason.
We have a flag down. The far side of the field.
Of course.
Formation. Legal formation on the offense. 5 men in the backfield. Remains first down.
Well, Baker's going to have to cut down on the penalties. That's been a big issue for him in the first 24 minutes of this one. That is 6 penalties on the Buffaloes for 45 yards. I love the hook and lateral, Jason.
Yeah, we used to run that. Speaking of an old school football game, that's an old school play. Now, isn't the rule in the NFL, had this been on the offense, you'd run the rest of the clock out and all that stuff. So really, advantage Baker, because it would have been the end of the quarter. I guess it is now anyway. They started the clock and they weren't ready. They weren't prepared for it.
So we saw our scoring in the first quarter of this one. Baker scored on its opening drive. McDonogh 35 kind of did. They punted the football on their opening drive. It hit a Baker player. They got it. Great field position, and they put together a touchdown drive off of that. The difference, Baker converted a 2-point conversion. McDonogh 35 did not. Let's send it down to the field and Kate Adams.
Thanks, Jeff. Well, Coach Randall, your Buffaloes were able to get on the board early tonight, giving you the lead going into the half. Just talk about how important that was.
Well, I think we missed some opportunities there late in the game, but it was fortunate to get on the board first. That means a lot to our kids. It gives them confidence. However, we made some mistakes there on the last two full possessions there. You had 3 penalties on one and 2 on the other one. So that's stalling some drive. We're not a good enough team to have those many mistakes and play from 1st and 15 or 20.
Well, I know you have definitely been laser focused since I've been watching you on the sidelines. Just talk about the importance, though, for your team to stay mentally focused in a big game like tonight's.
Yeah, they're young people, so they are going to this is a big contest. So I can't expect them to just be mature enough to come out here and do everything they're supposed to do. We have to coach them up. We have to be on top of them for every little thing out here, and we missed 5 of them. So I'm disappointed about that, because they'll stall some drives.
All right, Coach. Well, good luck. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Kate. Thanks, Coach Eric Randall. 8-6 is our halftime score. The Baker Buffaloes, the 30 seed in the 3A playoffs, trying to advance to the semifinals. We'll be back after this on Game Time.
Game Time Halftime is brought to you by Louisiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Ready to serve you with auto, homeowners, life insurance, and more. Real service, real people. Visit Baton Rouge. It's not just the capital city, it's the hub of all things Louisiana. Find out more about all the Red Stick has to offer at visitbatonrouge.com. ITI Technical College, your key to a better life. And by Peak Performance. At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete and everyone. Stronger, faster, better.
Well, I've had back pain now and then, but it got so bad I couldn't even bend over. I didn't want to resort to pain pills, so I chose Peak, hoping they could relieve the pain. They got me active again. I even lost weight. I believe in better. I chose Peak.
Choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
Senior Medicare Patrol is a federally funded program of the Administration for Community Living. In Louisiana, Florida, Mississippi, and Wisconsin, Senior Medicare Patrol is sponsored by EQ Health Solutions. Our mission is to empower and assist Medicare beneficiaries, their families, and caregivers to prevent, detect, and report healthcare fraud, errors, and abuse through outreach, counseling, and education. You should also call 877-272-8720 or visit stopmedicarefraud.org for more information.
Hey, Joe Martin here. You've seen our commercials over the years, and you may be wondering, what's in it for me? Well, ITI Technical College has been selected by Forbes magazine as a top 32-year college. But even more than that, the reason we do this is you. Our tagline is for a better life, and we mean that. For you to be able to have the life you've always dreamed about, to do the things for your family you've always dreamed about. And it can begin here, where we are dedicated to your success, because here at ITI, the reason we do it is you.
I spent years suffering from knee pain, so I decided to have replacement surgery. My doctor did a great job, and he allowed me to choose Peak for my PT. I should have done this a long time ago. I'm so glad I chose Peak.
Choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
Come on in and discover the new Cox Solutions store. Experience a whole new level of in-home comfort. It's all right here at the Cox Solutions store. Discover, learn, and experience more.
Tonight's Game Time League standings are brought to you by Visit Baton Rouge. It's not just the capital city, it's the hub of all things Louisiana. Find out more about all the Red Stick has to offer at visitbatonrouge.com.
My name is Haley Gray. I'm an insurance agent at Farm Bureau here in East Baton Rouge Parish, and this is my dog, Duke. I've been with Farm Bureau just over a year now, and a slogan that I use the most is hope for the best, prepare for the worst. And that's what I love the most about my job is I get to sit down with first-time homeowners or new parents, newlyweds, and sit down and just prepare for the future. You know, life throws crazy uncertainties at us, and I get to be the person to sit down and prepare with people, and that means a lot to me. You know, it's important to have an insurance agent, an agency that you feel comfortable with and that you can trust, because you don't use insurance on your good days. You use your insurance on your bad days when a tree falls on your house or your teenager gets in a fender bender. That's when you use your insurance. So having somebody that you trust and having somebody that's there for you in your time of need, in your darkest hour, that's what we are as Farm Bureau, and that's what real service, real people means to me.
At halftime from Baker High School, the Buffaloes leading the McDonogh 35 Ron Eagles 8-6. We have received some great hospitality here at Baker High School. Let's send it down to the field. Kate Adams is standing by with the principal for Baker High, Tracy Morgan.
That's right, Jeff. We have had great hospitality since we've been here in Baker. Tracy, I know that you guys were displaced back when the Great Flood of 2016 happened. So just tell me about working through that adversity and kind of where you guys are now.
Well, because of the flood, we were displaced and we had to move to one of the middle schools. The great news is that because we've received funding, we will, within the next 18 or so months, we will be moving back home. And so we're very excited. The fact that we've made it to the quarterfinals is the cherry on top of the sundae. So it's a great day to be a Buffalo.
It definitely is a great day to be a Buffalo. I mean, you've got to be so proud not only of your academics here at Baker High School, but like you just said, your football team is back to the quarterfinals. It's been quite a few years. Just what does it mean? Kind of, it seems like everything's finally coming together for you guys.
One of the great things about making it to the quarterfinals is that it provides us an opportunity to hush the naysayers. And so again, we are so excited about being able to move back home. We're excited for our student athletes, and I'm very proud of Coach Eric Randall and the coaching staff for a job well done.
Well, Tracy, we are proud of you and your Buffaloes as well. Thank you guys for all that you do for Baker High School and for its community. Back to you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. At halftime, Baker Buffaloes leading McDonogh 35, 8-6. We'll be back after this on Game Time.
When I tore my ACL, I didn't think I'd ever be able to play soccer again. My doctor told me how important physical therapy would be, so I chose Peak. I'm glad I did. Now I'm stronger, faster, better than ever. Choose Peak.
Choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
Our slogan is real service, real people, and I think in these opportunities we're able to really show that. We call on our communities a lot for support, and of course certainly we have a lot of customers. It's a terrible tragedy certainly, but it gives us the opportunity to give back. And the best thing about Farm Bureau is the people, and I think you can see that right here today.
We're here at Podna's Barbecue, Louisiana's best barbecue. I've got the owner, Gerald Hopper, and you've got mouth-watering, fall-off-the-bone ribs.
Well, they're slow cooked, I can tell you that.
Perfect for game day. It's our tailgate spread. Half slab of ribs, 2 halves of chicken, and 2 pints of sides with Texas toast and barbecue sauce, all for $24.85. With fast service, dine in or take out, and 2 great locations, Florida at Don Moore and Sherwood Forest at I-12.
Attention to detail makes the world go round. At Baker Printing, our approach to the printing business is very simple. Treat it as if it were your own. That's not always an easy job, but it comes from the top down in our company. We thrive on the unique jobs. Bottom line, we take care of our customers' projects as if they were our very own. At Baker Printing, attention to detail makes our world go round.
Exercising is my life, so when I had to stop because of my foot and ankle pain, I was absolutely devastated. I chose Peak and they taught me how to relieve the pain. They really do bring out the athlete in everyone. Choose Peak.
Choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
Tonight's Game Time Player of the Game is brought to you by ITI Technical College, your key to a better life. Check out the stories behind the games. Visit yourview.com/Louisiana.
Hey guys, this is Steve Wilson with Peak Performance Physical Therapy. I work at our Denham Springs location. While we're out here on these Friday nights, man, we have a great time covering athletics and keeping everybody safe. But we also understand that injuries are common in everyday life, and we get a lot of questions. One of the main questions we hear about is low back pain, and everybody talks about the core. What is this fuss about the core? Does that mean having six-pack abs and a flat stomach? And that's really couldn't be further from the truth. While the abdominals are a very vital part of the core, it's only a small portion. Your core is also made up of lateral muscles in the core and also back extensor muscles in the core. And all these muscles work as a system to really create a foundation that really stabilizes our low back. So it is a vital part to low back pain. It's a big portion of how we rehabilitate low back pain. So if you or anybody you know is having low back pain, please feel free to contact us at Peak Performance Physical Therapy so we can design a specialized plan just for you.
8-6 our halftime score from Baker High School as the Buffaloes leading the McDonogh 35, Ron Eagles 8-6. Back down to the field and Kate Adams.
Thanks, Jeff. Well, I have Herman Brister here with me. He is the superintendent for the City of Baker School Systems. He has been for the past 4.5 years, so I know you have seen this city undergo a lot, and one of the big topics right now is the groundbreaking that you guys are soon going to be having. Just kind of go over a brief timeline with me since the Great Flood of 2016 to where we are now.
Well, it's been a long haul for the City of Baker waiting on this to happen. We don't have a specific date scheduled, but about a week and a half ago, the Senate actually passed our bond issue to go to the market and start selling bonds to finance the building for interim financing. So we're excited about combining that funding source with the USDA money. That is a 40-year loan. We're very happy to get that. And of course, the GOSAF FEMA money will be kicked in to help get this school back on the way. So we're looking to put together about a $22 million project when it's all said and done. Some renovations and some new buildings. I think it's a win-win for the City of Baker. It's definitely a win-win for our students, and our parents and so forth that support this community should be proud of that once we get it up and running.
Well, a great all-around atmosphere here since we've been in Baker tonight. Really enjoying myself. Just how proud are you just to be a part of this community, to see these guys be here tonight in the quarterfinals, and just of your students' progress and just everything kind of going on here? It seems like it's finally clicking here in Baker.
Well, it generally takes 4 or 5 years to turn a program around. I'm optimistic about the direction we're going in. I can't say enough about the parents having enough confidence in the City of Baker school system to allow us the opportunity to educate their children. And then our kids are stepping up to the challenge, both academically, athletically, and of course our outstanding band. So all of this builds a community. This is a one high school town. If the parents and community rally around that high school, then all of this can continue. I'm very proud of what we see tonight. Win, lose, or draw, you have to take your hats off the way the kids have performed all year long and the way they performed in the first half. Just need to keep playing.
That's right. Well, thank you so much, Herman, for taking some time with me. And thank you for all that you do for here, the community of Baker, and all the people in it. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Kate. Certainly some proud people in the City of Baker. McDonogh 35, a good group of fans drove up from New Orleans. We'll be back after this on Game Time.
Hey, Joe Martin here. You've seen our commercials over the years, and you may be wondering, what's in it for me? Well, ITI Technical College has been selected by Forbes magazine as a top 32-year college. But even more than that, the reason we do this is you. Our tagline is for a better life, and we mean that. For you to be able to have the life you've always dreamed about, to do the things for your family you've always dreamed about. And it can begin here, where we are dedicated to your success, because here at ITI, the reason we do it is you.
We're here at Podna's Barbecue, Louisiana's best barbecue. I've got the owner, Gerald Hopper, and you've got mouth-watering, fall-off-the-bone ribs.
Well, they're slow cooked, I can tell you that.
Perfect for game day. It's our tailgate spread. Half slab of ribs, 2 halves of chicken, and 2 pints of sides with Texas toast and barbecue sauce, all for $24.85. With fast service, dine-in or take-out, and 2 great locations, Florida Donmore and Sherwood Forest at I-12.
Welcome to Monogram Express, a unique embroidery boutique specializing in personalized and one-of-a-kind gift ideas. Gifts for babies, children, ladies, and even men, we have you covered. Equipped with state-of-the-art embroidery machines, along with an experienced client-focused staff serving you 6 days a week. Check out the area's largest selection of letters, designs, and thread colors. We're your one-stop embroidery shop, handling personal, corporate, team, and school logos, and you're welcome to bring in your own items. Conveniently located at 2109 Veterans. Monogram Express makes your ordinary gifts extraordinary.
Our slogan is real service, real people, and I think in these opportunities we're able to really show that. We call on our communities a lot for support, and of course certainly we have a lot of customers. It's a terrible tragedy certainly, but it gives us the opportunity to give back. And the best thing about Farm Bureau is the people, and I think you can see that right here today.
Wrapping up halftime festivities from Baker High School, where the Buffaloes lead the McDonogh 35 Ron Eagles 8-6. Welcome back into our broadcast booth. 8-6 is our score. Jeff Palermo along with Jason DeQuire, and we said it at the beginning of the broadcast. This would be old school football. That's exactly what we're getting here tonight. Running the football, playing defense, trying to make things happen on special teams. Not much passing, but McDonogh 35 does have a passing touchdown in this contest.
Yeah, what we said at the beginning is the team that would be the most physical and control the line of scrimmage would have the best chance of winning with the least amount of turnovers.
Yeah.
And so Baker has done a good job controlling both sides of the line of scrimmage. They've been moving the ball down the field, but too many flags, too many turnovers. That's why you see an 8-6 game, because McDonogh 35 was essentially able to score off of a quasi-turnover when a punt went off the Baker defender, and they were able to take it in for a touchdown. So I think Baker's got to clean it up, but also for 35, I think they can move the ball through the air a little bit, and I think they ought to try to do that some to loosen up this Baker defense.
Yeah, very few total yards for McDonogh 35 in the first half. Let's take a look at our first half highlights as McDonogh 35 could not stop this man for much of the first half. That is Desmond Winded, and he scores a touchdown on the opening drive of the night for the Buffaloes. And then this was the punt that ends up hitting a Baker defender. McDonogh will fall on the football. They have outstanding field position. And a touchdown pass. Manuel Armstrong connecting on that TD pass. And here's an interception. Steveland Williams playing both sides for McDonogh 35. The leading rusher for the Ron Eagles gets the INT to end Baker's last drive of the first half. And there's a look at the total yards. Well in favor of the Buffaloes. They just have not taken advantage of the opportunity. You mentioned it. They've had a couple turnovers in this game, but even more so that's really hurt them is the number of penalties that they suffered in the first 24 minutes of this game.
Yeah, just a bunch of drive killers, including that their second to last possession. They were able to get down to the McDonogh 35 2 or 3 yard line and could not punch it in because of a bobbled snap and a couple of penalties.
McDonogh 35 will get the ball when we begin in the second half. No scoring in that second quarter. We'll see if the scoreboard will light up in the third. We'll be back after this.
This throbbing neck pain was so bad it moved to my shoulders and was causing severe headaches. Then a friend suggested I choose Peak. 2 weeks later, the pain was completely gone. So glad I chose Peak.
Choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
Hey, Joe Martin here. You've seen our commercials over the years, and you may be wondering, what's in it for me? Well, ITI Technical College has been selected by Forbes magazine as a top 32-year college. But even more than that, the reason we do this is you. Our tagline is for a better life, And we mean that, for you to be able to have the life you've always dreamed about, to do the things for your family you've always dreamed about. And it can begin here, where we are dedicated to your success, because here at ITI, the reason we do it is you.
We're here at Podna's Barbecue, Louisiana's best barbecue. I've got the owner, Gerald Hopper, and you've got mouth-watering, fall-off-the-bone ribs.
Well, they're slow cooked, I can tell you that.
Perfect for game day. It's our tailgate spread. Half slab of ribs, 2 halves of chicken, and 2 pints of sides with Texas toast and barbecue sauce, all for $24.85. With fast service, dine in or take out, and 2 great locations, Florida at Donmore and Sherwood Forest at I-12.
Senior Medicare Patrol is a federally funded program of the Administration for Community Living. In Louisiana, Florida, Mississippi, and Wisconsin, Senior Medicare Patrol is sponsored by EQ Health Solutions. Our mission is to empower and assist Medicare beneficiaries, their families, and caregivers to prevent, detect, and report healthcare fraud, errors, and abuse through outreach, counseling, and education. You should also call 877-272-8720 or visit stopmedicarefraud.org for more information.
My shoulder pain got so bad I couldn't lift anything overhead. So I chose Peak Performance, and I can't believe how much better I am now. Peak really does get you back into the game of life. Choose Peak.
Choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
Tonight's Game Time Play of the Game is brought to you by Louisiana Farm Bureau Insurance, ready to serve you with auto insurance, homeowners insurance, life insurance, and more. Real service, real people.
Set to begin the second half. Jeff Palermo, Jason DeQuare, and Kate Adams. Quarterfinal action in the Class 3A playoffs, and Baker leading McDonogh 35-8-6. Baker will be kicking off to McDonogh 35, and the Ron Eagles will take this return inside their own 10. Claudell Williams with a head of steam all the way up to the 41-yard line. Nice return. Let's send it down to the field, and Kate Adams.
Thanks, Jeff. Well, had a chance to catch up with MAC 35 head coach Reese. Basically asked him what his message to the team was. He said he's proud of the way his defense has played so far, but as far as his offense, they have got to move the ball down the field if they want to have any chance in getting a win tonight. Guys.
Yeah, that's just not going to cut it what they did offensively in the first half. Less than 60 yards of total offense. On the ground for McDonogh, Steveland Williams just held to 15 yards rushing on 6 carries. Manuel Armstrong was 2 of 4 throwing the ball for 32 yards. They start here, decent field position at their own 41. Armstrong out of the shotgun formation, gives it straight ahead to Williams, and there's that Baker defensive line. They have been massive in this football game all night as they've controlled the line of scrimmage. A couple of Buffaloes there. Jalen Gross along with Colby Neff.
Yeah, I mean, they have dominated that defensive line. They just have not allowed 35 run game to get going. And we talk about Steveland Williams. This is a guy that rushed for nearly 250 yards last week, and they have just completely taken the run game away.
Second down and 10. They stay in the shotgun formation. Trips to the near side. Play action fake, and they get it out into the flat. Running forward is Dwayne Dales, who's got a first down.
Yeah, I think this is what they've got to do here. They've got to loosen them up sideline to sideline. I thought that they completed and executed this play very well before the first half, and I really think this is what they're going to have to do in order to get their run game going. Put these guys in space. They're playing a little off of them. Give them a chance to make some plays and loosen the inside of this Baker defense up.
Desmond Winden pushed him out of bounds. Nice block downfield by Terrence Jordan. At the 46-yard line is McDonogh 35 now into Baker territory. Again, they stay in that shotgun formation. Hands it off, left side for a few for Steveland Williams. Got about 4, I suppose.
Yeah, just going to have to keep this Buffalo defense honest. And you can see there, those were plays that really weren't going for much. You pitch it outside one time, complete a pass, and now, boom, you at least get some positive yards there on first down, which 35 hasn't seen much of tonight.
Big Dylan Cage in the middle of that Baker defensive line. He has clogged things up for the McDonogh running game. Williams gets another carry, trying that left side, and he gets through there for a first down. inside the 30 to the 29-yard line.
Well, this is a physical run here by Williams. I mean, he finishes a run. You talk about running backs finishing a run. You want to know what it means. Watch this. Watch at the end of this run. Runs through one tackle and then go. I mean, that's just that's the way you finish a run. I like to see that.
Well, the coaches for McDonogh 35 told us this kid loves running over people. He's only 5'8", 185 pounds, but that does not deter him. He wants to take on the contact inside the 30-yard line on this opening drive of the second half for the Ron Eagles. Also in the backfield is Taj Johnson. Instead, it's Williams, and he got hammered. Met at the line of scrimmage and then shoved back. I just mentioned his name, Dylan Cage. How do you defend this guy at 325 pounds?
And I don't know why they keep running that. I mean, the Cage has shut down that inside part. I mean, watch this. I mean, he just pushes his guy back, and it's like, and you continue to try to run it at him. I mean, if anything, what I would do is run that little running back mesh off of it and then come up and put Armstrong in motion or pitch it outside. But, I mean, he is closed. That is closed for business right there in the inside.
6'1", 325-pound senior, 36 tackles on the season, 18 tackles for a loss. It's second down and 11 now for the Ron Eagles. Play action fake. Armstrong throwing and has his man, and he makes the catch. McDonogh inside the 10, and he is ankle tackled at the 8-yard line. Another big play through the air. And it's first and goal for the Ron Eagles.
Yeah, and I think 35 made the adjustment at the half. I think they came out and said, hey, look, instead of these third and long situations we're running, we're going to come out and throw it. And I'll tell you what, every time Armstrong has dropped back to make a throw, he's thrown the ball very well. And that time he shows his touch and just gets it out there to his guy in the flat. Everybody's committing to the run. You're going to have gaps in the defense.
Baker will use a timeout as McDonogh 35 driving on them in this opening second half. Coach Randall wants to bring his defense over. Baker allowing 19 points a game defensively, but they are being tested here early on in the second half, as this has been the best drive of the night for McDonogh 35.
Well, and what Coach Randall's telling his defense right now is you got to stay on your keys. I know they've run the ball all night, but you got to watch your keys because they will then start throwing the football, and I think they caught the Baker secondary sleeping a little bit.
Jeremiah Bell made that tackle on McDonogh, who caught the pass. Fast wide receivers. You saw the speed of McDonogh once he caught the football. 6 plays, 50 yards on this drive. Next week, not exactly sure where we will be, but the YurView Louisiana Game of the Week will be a select championship game. If there are 2 games going on next week, as far as championship games, we'll have one on CST, and then the other will be on YurView. So you'll have to check out YurView.com or Cox Sports Television's website to find out where exactly and what games we'll be covering for you. And if there's games next Saturday, we could have some coverage for you as well. Inside the ITI technical red zone and into the end zone. Touchdown, Steveland Williams. And McDonogh 35 has its first lead of the night. There's a holding penalty. They do not have their first lead of the night. It is coming back.
That's huge. That is a huge there. In this situation, you've kind of opened up this Baker defense a little bit. You have a good opportunity off the edge, and then you commit the infraction, and now it's going to put you on your heels offensively.
On the offense, number 57, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, still first down.
Well, that's Kyle Cooper. Let's see if we can get him. You see him right there, and that's one of those that, I mean, you know, Jeff, you could call a hold on every play. But, you know, it's tough whether those arms are on the outside or whether he's really grabbing them. But nevertheless, this is a big, big call against 35.
Certainly is. Backs him up to the 19-yard line, first and goal. Armstrong will go to the air once again. Into the flat, another completion. Baker there defensively, a couple of Buffalo defenders. Brings down the receiver, Dwayne Dales, right away. Minimal gain. Running over there, Tremonte Spears, 40 tackles on the season.
But I'm okay with that because even though you don't pick up positive yards, you're stretching, you're forcing that Baker defense to be more honest, to play you and guard you all over the field. And that can open up some of these running lanes up the middle.
Now, unlike Baker, who has not tried a field goal this season, McDonogh 35 has at least made a field goal this year. So if they get inside the 10, they could try for a field goal to take the lead. Armstrong looking to throw over the middle, and it was just tipped away.
Wow.
Nice defensive play. That's Tremonte Spears again. Dwayne Dales was open in the end zone, but Spears got his hand on it, and it's 3rd and goal.
Wow, another blown coverage, blown assignment here, as you can see.
Oh, what a great play.
He gets behind there. Let's see where he tips it right there on the fingertips. And I'll tell you what, that much deflection. Now, that's in slow motion. So, obviously, when it's going fast, it's more difficult to make that catch there. But that deflection right there was enough to prevent the receiver from making the adjustment.
Great athletic play by the 6', 210-pound senior linebacker. Armstrong is 5 of 8 for 68 yards and a touchdown. Before he gets hit, throws in coverage, ball batted around, incomplete. And now what will McDonogh 35 decide to do? Are they bringing the field goal unit on?
Looks like they are. They are shifting some personnel, but maybe they're calling them back.
I don't. That's probably too far for what they can do.
I would have thought they might have tried to keep this one on the ground, and if you pick up a couple or some, it makes the field goal a manageable situation. But I think here they're going to have to keep the offense on.
And I think they're going to call a timeout to discuss exactly what they're going to do. What a big holding penalty. Took 6 points off the board for McDonogh 35 on their opening drive of the second half. 7:51 left to go in the third quarter. We'll see what Wayne Reese Sr. dials up when we come back. This is Game Time on YurView, Louisiana.
Hey, Joe Martin here. You've seen our commercials over the years, and you may be wondering, what's in it for me? Well, ITI Technical College has been selected by Forbes magazine as a top 32-year college. But even more than that, the reason we do this is you. Our tagline is for a better life, and we mean that, for you to be able to have the life you've always dreamed about, to do the things for your family you've always dreamed about. And it can begin here, where we are dedicated to your success, because here at ITI, the reason we do it is you.
Our slogan is real service, real people, and I think in these opportunities we're able to really show that. We call on our communities a lot for support, and of course certainly we have a lot of customers. It's a terrible tragedy certainly, but it gives us the opportunity to give back. And the best thing about Farm Bureau is the people, and I think you can see that right here today.
So they are going to try the field goal. This will be a 33-yard field goal for David Green to give McDonogh 35 the lead. Claudell McDonald is the holder. Good snap, good hold. Has it got the length? No, it doesn't.
It's nowhere close.
So Baker's defense, thanks to a holding penalty, comes up with the stand. They'll take it over 1st and 10 at their own 20.
Yeah, and they've only, I think, connected on one field goal all year, and just doesn't catch it clean. Again, Jeff, as I was mentioning on that drive, if they picked up another 4 to 5 yards, it may have had a chance there, but that's just a little out of the range.
First time the Buffaloes will have the ball offensively as Damian Knighton and company come up to the line of scrimmage. Big first half for the Buffaloes' leading rusher, Desmond Winden, 12 carries, 433 yards, and a touchdown. Nothing happening there as Kylie Clifton carries the football for a yard. 2nd and 9. So what do you think here, Jason? Is it the first team to 14 wins? It's got that feeling to it.
It does. The way this game is playing out, I mean, they only each got in the end zone once in the first half, and that's why I said, you know, these points are big. You know, when Baker had the ball down there on the 2-yard line and couldn't convert, and then just here at 35 put in the end zone but had a holding call.
More of Kylie Clifton, who's got a first down and brought down at the 41-yard line. Larry Remenek on the tackle, and there is a flag, and this may be coming back.
Boy, I tell you what, the number of penalties in this game and the costly ones against both teams. You know, you would think with Baker putting up over 200 yards of rushing in the first half, they'd have more points.
Sideline warning.
Uh-oh, this
way, first one.
All right. If it was against Baker, that one would have cost them. So now they're even on that deal, Jeff. They both have one.
Kylie Clifton, a 20-yard run. Let's take a look at it again.
Yeah, again here, just 33 is the lead block there, and he gets out there, Spears, and has really done a good job of opening up those holes.
Yeah, he has made a lot of key blocks this season for Baker, but not there. McDonogh 35 into the backfield. The first guy there, Kondal Salik, a senior. Loss of a couple. 3, in fact. And now when you put either of these teams behind the chains, it really makes it tough for their offenses.
Well, Jeff, I'm looking for number 1. I have not seen him take a snap yet in the second half. Wyndon, he has not been out there.
He was out there defensively.
But I know he was banged up a little bit in the first half, and you know, he's definitely their best running back.
Coy Milton, the freshman, who had a big 45-yard run. Knighton gets hit as he throws. Jump ball caught to the 30-yard line. Big offensive play. That's Jalen Pendleton. He's got 12 catches now for over 300 yards. He came into the night averaging 28 yards a catch, 32 yards on that play.
Well, the defender was there. The Pendleton just makes a play. He just goes up and makes a play there. Rashad Foley was in position, but Pendleton saw the ball, was able to high point the football just like you're supposed to, and he just made a big play for his team.
Wyndon back out there. Nice pass play for the sophomore QB, 1,400 yards throwing on the season. And here's Wyndon, and Wyndon stuffed for a yard or two.
Yeah, that was essentially the play before, just a jump ball. I believe my guy is better than yours, and Pendleton goes up and grabs a huge play there for Baker.
2-yard carry. Tell you one guy that is not out there defensively for McDonogh 35. We saw he left with an injury in the first half was the
number 8, Ellis.
Well, Jonathan Hudson. Ellis is out there, but they are missing number 4 defensively, and that's a big loss, especially against a running team like Baker, who loves to run in between the tackles. Not happening that time. Tariq Jones back in the backfield again, and Wyndon is saying, hey, can you give me a little bit of room here? Loss of 5.
Yeah, well, they're kind of running stunts and coming at different angles to try to get penetration in the backfield. A lot of times those stretch plays out of the I formation take a little time to develop, so they're slanting from the other side, trying to get it from behind and run that play down from behind rather than taking it on head-on.
3rd down and 14. Clifton will be the running back to dot the I. Eric Randall, the wide receiver, to the near side. He's been quiet tonight. They look in his direction. Here's the pass, and Randall catches it. Randall tries to make a move, and he is elusive with the ball in his hands. He may have lost yards before it was all said and done, as he is down at the 27-yard line. A 4th down coming up for the Buffaloes. Under 4 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, this time just trying to make a lot happen here, and he is able to make a great move there, but then he goes back about 5 or 6 yards, and that's really costly. It was a great play, and you're screaming, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, you get yourself in trouble, and now it's going to make it 4th and a ways where it could have been maybe 4th and 2.
15 catches for 488 yards on the season, and another timeout will be called. That's Baker's 2nd timeout they've used in this half. And I think they wanted to get Desmond Wyndon back out on the field. He was sitting on the bench adjusting something regarding his equipment, and that might have been one of the reasons why they wanted to call the timeout there. So what other equipment issue he was having can get cleared up so they can have him on the field for this 4th and 7.
Yeah, and again, a lot of these Baker players go both ways. About 5, 6 of them are constantly on the field, so I know at times they're getting winded and just got to worry about their condition and making sure that they're available throughout the night. And I think that's what's going on with Wyndham. I was looking for him at the outset of the half, but using him a lot on defense, and we saw him get nicked up in the first half, probably trying to manage the number of snaps he's playing.
Let's see if Damian Knighton decides to make another big play through the air. As you look at the Baker coaching staff on this 4th down and 7, have not had any scoring in this game since the first quarter. McDonogh 35 showing blitz, and the pitch is behind the running back, Wyndham, and he wants to throw it and throws it downfield. Did he get a foot in bounds? Incomplete, says the official.
Oh, are you kidding me? Now, I don't think this was going to be a design throw, but as soon as Wyndham picked up the ball, he was bent on throwing the football. I mean, he had made up his mind. I honestly thought he could have scampered up the sideline and just run for it, which is speed. Watch here. The pitch was low and behind him. But you see here, he had room to run. Right here, he had room to run, but he throws it on the run and throws a dart.
Oh, man, look at that.
That's close.
But I think the official had the right call there.
And that wasn't the 1 foot. I mean, he was going for 2 feet.
Yeah, that was some Chris Carter type work there on the sidelines. The Hall of Fame receiver. And now they run it here. Steveland Williams for 3 or so. And we continue with this grudge match between these two teams as we're upon the 3-minute mark. Steveland Williams has been the Superman of this McDonogh 35 team. Wants to inspire others with his play. Ideal football player, says Coach Reese. Gives 110% every time, never complains. Says he's in the same class as Marshall Faulk as far as the type of competitor that he is. Well, no running room though. Marshall Faulk couldn't do anything with that either. Jalen Gross, this big defensive line for Baker has been impressive. Gross, 35 tackles on the year, 12 tackles for a loss. Look at him fill the hole here.
Yeah, we were talking with the coaches during the week. He asked, what do you like about your linemen? Speaking of Gross, he says, they're just nasty. That's what they are. They're nasty in the trenches, and you've seen it on both sides of the ball tonight.
Big 3rd down coming up for McDonogh 35. They got 4 wide receivers. The pass, and that is complete. And now moving down the field after getting away from the defenders and then finally getting tripped up. That was Torrey Chambers. Big offensive play for the Ron Eagles, and they are back in business at the 21-yard line.
Again, this is the adjustment 35 has made in the second half. They're willing to come out and throw the football. Armstrong has delivered the ball well, and a lot of these Baker DBs are playing 9-10 yards off the receivers. And that time, Chambers able to make a great play and cut it upfield, make a guy miss. And again, getting their players in space and really dialing up some nice pass plays here in the second half at 35.
48-yard pass play at the 21. Under 90 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Ron Eagles trail by 2 in the quarterfinals of the Class 3A playoffs. Williams trying to run up the middle. Says Dylan Cage.
Yeah, that is a cage right there. I mean, you're not going to get through that cage. He has been he's been a run stopper all night. It's a big boy.
One wide receiver to the far side. That's McDonogh.
They've been willing to put the ball up.
Run a little bit of an option. Pitch it out to Williams. Williams got to the 20. Great job by the Baker defense. They have shut down this McDonogh 35 run game. And another 3rd and long coming up for the Ron Eagles.
Yeah,
this is where the drive stalled for him last time.
Watch the tight end or route over the middle. They have tested the middle of the field when they've thrown it on 3rd and long, and really they've had success. That's how they got the touchdown to Foley, and you saw almost another touchdown on the last drive. The defensive back maybe tipped it away there at the last second. Made a good play.
Only 44 yards rushing tonight for the Ron Eagles. So they'll throw the football and then trying to move upfield. Manageable 4th down coming up after McDonogh gets about 7. And that's the end of the 3rd quarter. The last 2 have been scoreless. But can McDonogh 35 get on the board in the 4th quarter and take its first lead of the night? Eric Randall's defense has been tough here tonight. We'll be back after this on Game Time.
We're here at Podna's Barbecue, Louisiana's best barbecue. I've got the owner, Gerald Hopper, and you've got mouth-watering, fall-off-the-bone ribs.
Well, they're slow cooked, I can tell you that.
Perfect for game day. It's our tailgate spread. Half slab of ribs, 2 halves of chicken, and 2 pints of sides with Texas toast and barbecue sauce, all for $24.85. With fast service, dine in or take out, and 2 great locations, Florida Donmore and Sherwood Forest at I-12.
Hi, we are live with the PPTV network, where one of the top athletes is about to make his important decision. We know his character, and nothing will hold him back.
I'm glad to have my family and friends here for this choice. It's more than my career. It will affect the rest of my life. I choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
The decision is in. Why choose Peak?
Their reputation and their record of success is unmatched.
When it matters most, another patient chooses Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
One more quarter to go. Winner advances to the semifinals of the Class 3A playoffs. The loser heads home and gets ready for the 2020 season. Baker scored on its opening drive of the night. McDonogh 35 countered. But since then, no scoring since that first quarter. But a 4th down coming up for 35. And that was a good 3rd quarter offensively for McDonogh. Remember, they only had 55 yards in the first half, but in that 3rd quarter, they had 105 yards as they mixed in the pass very well with the running game.
Yeah, and I really liked, speaking of 3rd, I really liked that play on 3rd down. You know, making sure that they got a completion and trying to make it a manageable 4th down situation. You knew already you were going to go for it. So try to get your team in a good position here on 4th down, and they've done that. Let's see what they draw up here for the 4th and 2 play call.
Double tight end set. Williams, the tailback. Williams, 1st down, touchdown! Ron Eagles have their first lead of the night. 4th down and 2. Williams runs it in from 13, his 17th touchdown of the season.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's throwing up right there, but nevertheless, Williams makes it into the end zone, and you're starting to say, hey, well, why is the running game working now in the second half? It wasn't working the first. Well, they're putting the ball in the air. They're stretching the defense, and that time Williams was able to get through there, breaking an arm tackle, and you knew you weren't going to contain him all night. Here's a guy who rushed for almost 250 yards last week. Little swinging gate.
And it converts into 2 points.
Yeah, the old school. I mean, this you're seeing all of the old school plays in a old school football game. Here's the swinging gate, and then the pass off of it just caught him by surprise.
David Raines catches the ball in the end zone. Here's Steveland Williams, the senior. Does not want his season or his prep career to end tonight. And then Wade Reese Sr. pulls out an old trick from the playbook. 14-8, McDonogh 35.
Well, I've had back pain now and then, but it got so bad I couldn't even bend over. I didn't want to resort to pain pills, so I chose Peak, hoping they could relieve the pain. They got me active again. I even lost weight. I believe in better. I chose Peak.
Choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
Attention to detail makes the world go round. At Baker Printing, our approach to the printing business is very simple. Treat it as if it were your own. That's not always an easy job, but it comes from the top down in our company. We thrive on the unique jobs. Bottom line, we take care of our customers' projects as if they were our very own. At Baker Printing, attention to detail makes our world go round.
Our slogan is real service, real people, and I think in these opportunities we're able to really show that. We call on our communities a lot for support, and of course, certainly we have a lot of customers. It's a terrible tragedy, certainly, but it gives us the opportunity to give back. And the best thing about Farm Bureau is the people, and I think you can see that right here today.
I spent years suffering from knee pain, so I decided to have replacement surgery. My doctor did a great job, and he allowed me to choose Peak for my PT. I should have done this a long time ago. I'm so glad I chose Peak.
Choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
Well, take the 2 points off the board that McDonogh 35 just scored. Apparently there was an ineligible man down the field, and so that pushes him back 5 yards. This play will run from the 8-yard line, and we'll see if they try another fake field goal.
I'd be really shocked if they kick it here. One, the last field goal did about this range, didn't come off well, and you need 2 points because if Baker scores, then they'll be up by 1.
Well, they run a misdirection there, and it's not going to happen. Jamarian Henderson never got back to the line of scrimmage. That was tough. So take the 2 points off the board. When you think about it now, Jason, for McDonogh 35, that's 8 points that have come off the board for them because of penalties. Remember, they scored what appeared to be a touchdown in the third quarter. There was a holding penalty. They never scored on that drive. And now on a 2-point conversion, because of an ineligible man downfield, they lose 2 more points. So instead of having a bit of a healthy lead here, it's just a 4-point lead early in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Down to the field and Kate Adams.
There was a huge momentum shift on the Ron Eagles sideline. I was over there when the fourth quarter started. All the players had the 4 in the air, and they were jumping up and down in a huge huddle, basically hyping each other up, which they definitely need in order to get through this last quarter. Back to you guys.
Yeah, it's going to come down to who's more physical, who's more efficient offensively, cut down on the mistakes. Both teams have made their fair share of them in this contest, but McDonogh 35 has its first lead of the night, 12-8. In a game dominated by these 2 good defenses.
Yeah, both of these defenses have been, but they have not really broke. You know, up to this point, they've been able to keep a lot of these drives out of the end zone.
Kind of a squib kick taken at the 24-yard line. And out of bounds at the 37 on the return for Baker. That was Jalen Pendleton. Some of the Buffalo fans looking for a late hit penalty, but not going to happen. So this Baker offensive line that's been together for the most part since the 9th grade. Thomas Benton, Jalen Gross, and Dylan Cage, all 4-year starters on that O-line. They need to have the drive of their lives right now with 11:47 to go in the contest. As you look at the ITI Technical College scoring drive, Williams on the 4th down and 2 scoring from 13 yards out. There was another penalty on that return, a holding penalty. So Baker will actually start this drive from their own 25.
Yeah, it's been really sloppy with the number of penalties that we've had in this game tonight, and that's one of the reasons for such a low score in this game, because you just talked about the points that came off the board, and you know Baker's probably also saying we could have had more points too had we not committed so many penalties. 35's been pretty good this second half, slowing this run game down.
25, here comes Knighton straight ahead, gets about 5 or 6.
And that's a new little wrinkle for this run game. We have not really seen Knighton carry the ball much as a runner. He's really handed the ball off, but that time carried it as a runner and was able to pick up some good yardage on first down.
Well, he had over 100 yards rushing in the first round playoff victory, the upset over LaRanger. It was just 6 carries, but still 112 yards. So he's got some speed and quickness to him that makes him an effective ball carrier. He ended up getting about 7.
And you got the big fullback Spears complimenting him in the backfield. Oh my goodness.
Big hit in the middle of all that.
Just picked him up. Knighton's such a small guy out there playing quarterback. I mean, he's probably 170 pounds, maybe.
160 is what I got him at. And Walter Robert, 6'1", 265, delivers him to the turf. But it was enough for a first down on the carry.
And you got to be able to pick that up if you're 35. If Spears is going to be next to Knighton in the backfield, 9 times out of 10, he's going to be the lead blocker, and Knighton's going to carry the football. It's when you get Wyndon in there or some of those other running backs that can beat you getting down the field, that's when he's more likely to hand the football off.
Need to hurry up here. 8 seconds on the play clock. Do they recognize it? 5 seconds on the play clock. Knighton does get the snap off. Wyndon has to carry. Wyndon turns upfield, and he's got a first down.
What a burst.
And a flag comes in late.
That must have been, again, something after the play. I didn't see a face mask on Wyndon. So it's got to be something.
You're going to be 15 yards up.
Trying to listen into their huddle there to see if I can pick it up, but they're about to tell us.
We have a dead ball, personal foul, number 22, White. 15 yards from the end of the run, first down.
So a big 15-yard penalty going to be marked off against the Ron Eagles.
Yeah.
And that puts the football at the 39-yard line, and he'll sit on the bench. Is the guilty man, David Raines.
Yeah, just got to keep your composure. It's a physical, chippy game. We've seen some close ones with runners going out of bounds and kind of hanging on. Let's see if we can catch it here. Let's see number 22. Just smacks him in the face. See, that's stuff like that. You just got to keep your composure.
137 yards rushing for Wyndon, and keeping the football is Knight. Knight ran into his own man, and I think he loses a yard out of all that. Chased out of bounds by David Ellis. Still no Jonathan Hudson out there defensively for McDonogh 35. Down with an injury in the first half, number 4.
Well, and, you know, as methodical as these teams are, I heard you mention it was 11-minute mark. It's a crucial drive for Baker. And even with that much time, I agree with you because of the way and how much time it takes them to move the ball down the field. So, you know, they really got to get some points out of this drive.
Here comes Wyndon. Wyndon gets past the line of scrimmage and spins and turns to the 36-yard line. Third down, under 10 minutes to go.
I really like this kid, Jeff. He is quick,
is.
Man.
He can play at the next level.
Yeah, and, you know, you look at his size, and that's probably the only thing that would prevent him from being a big recruit. But go ahead.
Well, but for Eric Randall, he's been very durable. I mean, this guy has been running the football for Baker High since the ninth grade, and he's hardly ever been injured.
And that's the stuff you can't teach. We saw the stops and starts, and then, you know, the play or two before, just the burst when he decides to cut it up the field. He's not afraid, as you mentioned. And then on that last play, just the spin move to pick up an extra 3 or 4 yards.
Looks like Baker has just used its final timeout of the night with 9:23 to go. 12-8 game. And a defensive slugfest between these two 3A schools. On the line, a trip to the semifinals. We'll be back after this.
Tonight's Game Time play of the game is brought to you by Podna's Barbecue. Slow-cooked, fall-off-the-bone perfection. And the best baked beans in America.
Hi, we are live with the PPTV network, where one of the top athletes is about to make his important decision. We know his character, and nothing will hold him back.
I'm glad to have my family and friends here for this choice. It's more than my career. It will affect the rest of my life. I choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
The decision is in. Why choose Peak?
Their reputation and their record of success is unmatched.
When it matters most, another patient chooses Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
Tonight's Game Time League standings are brought to you by Visit Baton Rouge. It's not just the capital city, it's the hub of all things Louisiana. Find out more about all the Red Stick has to offer at visitbatonrouge.com.
Game time on YurView. Thanks Louisiana Lift for their support of this telecast, specializing in customer service on equipment, rentals, parts, and training. Louisiana Lift has been serving customers since 1980. You can check them out online at lalift.com or call their Baton Rouge office, 753-5700. This has been a fun one from Baker High School if you like old school type football with a nice change of pace. 9:23 left to go. McDonogh 35 just grabbed the lead, its first lead of the night a few moments ago, but Baker on the move. They just used their last timeout. Big 3rd and 7. It's trying to set up the screen and they get it completed, but good pursuit of the football. Tariq Jones getting to Kylie Clifton, and this is going to bring up a huge 4th down, about 4th and 5.
Yeah, how big is this call going to be? And remember, Baker's out of timeouts. You see here, just trying to get the screen out, slip it underneath. Good job with pursuit there by the 35 defenders. And now you got to call this play from the sideline. You can't take a timeout and dial it up. But look, I hate to say this could be the play of the game, but it very well could be, even with 8 minutes and more to go in this game, just because of the styles these two teams play.
Well, I said 4th and 5 based on the initial spot, but they've moved it up 2 yards from there, and it's 4th and 3.
Yeah, and interestingly, you got Wyndon at the fullback. Oh, my goodness.
Well, busted play here. Now just throwing it up, and it's incomplete. I'm not exactly sure what happened.
Well, I think Baker's going to get another crack at it. No, they're not. I
don't think everybody knew what the snap count was supposed to be.
Illegal shift this way is declined. 1st down.
And the Ron Eagles defense comes up with another stand, and Eric Randall wondering what the heck happened on that play.
Yeah, half the team didn't know what the snap count was or whatnot, but it was just bad from the start. And they were going to try to sneak Wyndon out to the flats from the fullback position, but just not everybody on the same page with the snap count. You talk about costly penalties against Baker. There might not be a penalty more costly in this game than that one, because now they turn the ball over. Got to really hunker down and play some defense.
Williams, the tailback, with Taj Johnson in front of him. Manuel Armstrong underneath center. And not much running room.
And the problem here is if 35 is able to get a 1st down or 2, Baker can't stop the clock. Yeah, they're out of timeouts already, and that's going to be a problem when you need the ball back. And even if you get the ball back, you're not going to be able to stop the clock. So not having timeouts here is critical right now in this phase of the game.
Baker's defense has yet to force a turnover tonight, too. Devon Harris gets lined up right, double tight end formation. Williams, no running room at all. Baker selling out to stop him. 3rd down and 10. Mass substitutions now as McDonogh 35 will probably have to try to throw it on 3rd and 10, but they've been successful somewhat through the air. They're 2 for 9 though on 3rd downs tonight.
Yeah, I'm not so certain they're going to put this ball in the air, but look, championship football, if you want it, go get it. And throwing it would be going and trying to get it to win this football game.
Off the hands of the receiver, Dwayne Dales, and that stops the clock, and Baker will get the football back.
Yeah, something was telling me they were going to play it safe. And no, they threw the ball, but it was a very safe play. A little reverse pivot by the quarterback, fake the run here. Just try to get it out in the flat and let your guy make a play, but the ball was not delivered accurately, and your receiver has to go down, scrape the ground. Even if you catch it, you're basically going to be down.
Armstrong on tonight, 7 of 12 for 123 yards. Nice job defensively on that last play as Jeremiah Bell came knifing through there.
Still think Wyndon's too deep here.
High punt,
not gonna
short.
Catch it. Not going to catch
and
the
it
football.
takes a nice bounce and roll for 35.
You got to make those adjustments. That just, it irks me.
6:38 to go. Can Baker mount a drive? 40-yard punt. They'll start this next drive at their own 27. We'll be back after this on Game Time.
When I tore my ACL, I didn't think I'd ever be able to play soccer again. My doctor told me how important physical therapy would be, so I chose Peak. I'm glad I did. Now I'm stronger, faster, better than ever. Choose Peak.
Choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
We're here at Podna's Barbecue, Louisiana's best barbecue. I've got the owner, Gerald Hopper, and you've got mouth-watering, fall-off-the-bone ribs.
Well, they're slow cooked, I can tell you that.
Perfect for game day. It's our tailgate spread. Half slab of ribs, 2 halves of chicken, and 2 pints of sides with Texas toast and barbecue sauce, all for $24.85. With fast service, dine in or take out, and 2 great locations, Florida Donmore and Sherwood Forest at I-12.
Exercising is my life, so when I had to stop because of my foot and ankle pain, I was absolutely devastated. I chose Peak and they taught me how to relieve the pain. They really do bring out the athlete in everyone. Choose Peak.
Choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
Tonight's Game Time play of the game is brought to you by Louisiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Ready to serve you with auto insurance, homeowners insurance, life insurance, and more. Real service, real people.
On the ball.
Just 6:38 left to go in this quarterfinal 3A matchup. Jeff Palermo, Jason DeQuire, Kate Adams from Baker High School. Baker in the quarterfinals for the first time since 2006. McDonogh trying to get to the state championship game for the first time in school history and get back to the semifinals for the first time since 2016. Down to the field and Kate Adams.
Jeff, well, the Baker Buffaloes know how important this upcoming drive is that they have right here. They know right now they need to get some points on the board. And look, they're ready to go, guys.
And they keep running it with the quarterback. A change of pace. Good tackle by Tariq Jones on Damian Knighton. And we've alluded to it a couple times why this drive is so critical now, as we're under 6.5 to go, as Baker does not have any more timeouts left. So,
and I'm not sure why they're still huddling. I mean, if you're
they
going to,
got plenty of time to do that.
You do, but you don't have timeouts. And if you're going to run the ball all the way down the field, then you need to go a little bit faster, I think. And then if you don't get it, if you go 3 and out, you may still have an opportunity to get the ball back.
2nd out and 6. They're going to throw it. Knighton's pass is off the hands of Eric Randall. I don't know if that was intended for him. There were a couple receivers in the area, but it almost looked like Eric Randall knocked it down. He was playing defense instead of offense.
It was almost like he was unsure if the ball was intended for him, and just wasn't an accurate throw there by Knighton. You'll see here, this is just a little from the slot, out route. And yeah, that's just off target, I guess, unless he was trying to fit it in there to number 25, Milton.
So a huge 3rd down. Trevante Spears in the backfield with Knighton. 4 wide receiver package for the Buffaloes. Pressure. Knighton escapes it. Looking downfield, tosses it downfield. Caught! Oh no, he couldn't hang on to it. Great job by the receiver though, Pendleton, to come back to his receiver to help him out, but the opportunity was there.
What a drop, and I thought he was going to check it down. That was a great job, and he had another player open a little bit shorter distance, but he decided to take it down the field, and that was a real opportunity there for Pendleton. Now I'm going to tell you what, Jeff, I disagree with this. I would punt the football. There's no question in my mind I would punt the football right here. Now, if they pick up the 1st down, you can say I told you so, but I think your odds or chances of winning this game are better punting the football and trying to play defense again and getting it back and picking up this 4th from here.
4th down and 7. Randall is lined up in the slot. Knighton has time to throw, zips it over the middle and tight coverage and another drop pass. Randall couldn't hang on to it. Big collision there. There's an injured Ron Eagle. But 2 drop passes there. Knighton threw a couple good passes, but Baker just couldn't make the grabs.
Yeah, again, this is a good job by Knighton. He actually fits this ball in a tight window.
Oh, man,
and that's
it's
just
right there.
Yeah, that's just a catch. Man, it was there. It was there for Baker, and hit him right there in the number in a tight window, and just got to catch that football.
In Class 5A, Destrehan has knocked off the second-seeded West Monroe Rebels 20-17. So big win for Steve Robichaux and the Destrehan Wildcats as they advance to the semifinals.
And last I checked, I think Catholic High was up 14-0, I believe, with, I'm looking here, just with about maybe 2 or 3 minutes to go.
Catholic High would play Rummel, who is beating Brother Martin tonight in the Division I state championship game. We anticipate that game being played at Ullman Stadium on Tulane's campus in New Orleans. Again, Baker cannot stop the clock with 5.5 and counting.
Yeah, I mean, you get an opportunity to get the ball back, but that's why I would have punted the football. And that way, if you get the ball back, you'd have much better field position.
2nd down and 9. Baker's defense has done all they could here tonight. Man, the total yardage is going to swing way in favor of Baker, but yet, unless they really get something going here late in the 4th quarter, they're going to lose this football game.
I'm not so certain about that, Jeff. You may be looking at the numbers, but in this second half, I think it's been all 35 on offense, and you know, the quarterback has thrown for some good yardage.
Hard run by Williams.
But I tell you what, I bet 35 will not put this ball in the air again. This thing is going to stay on the ground. A good hard run here, you see, at both options there in the backfield by Williams, and just continuing to grind. But I'd be willing to bet anybody that 35 doesn't put the ball in the air. They want this clock to keep ticking, and if it comes to a 4th down, they'll go for it on 4th down and just try to milk this clock. And if anything, Baker will have the full field or almost the full field to drive for a winning touchdown.
Well, Coach Reese said last week, when you got the horse, you ride the horse, and that horse is Steveland Williams. He'll swing it out to him and incomplete.
That is shocking to me. I mean, that is
4:03. The clock is stopped.
Why would you do that? I know you're thinking a safe play, but anything can happen on those.
Well, there you punt it. Now you got to punt it, right?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't punt it. I wouldn't take the chance of.
That's at the 25.
I wouldn't take the chance of a bad snap, a block punt, give Baker a chance to block it and return it for a touchdown. I'd line up and I'd run the football. That's what I would do.
284 total yards for Baker. McDonogh 35, 186.
You got to play the odds here. Baker has had trouble moving the ball this half. They'd have to move it the length of the field almost with no timeouts.
Armstrong will throw it. It's got a man open. Caught inside the 5. 1st and goal for the Ron Eagles. Big catch by Dwayne Dale. Great throw by Manuel Armstrong. He's made some plays with his arm here tonight. 22 yards.
Yeah, Armstrong has been the difference maker in the second half. Through the air, he's really made some good throws, and I think that has been the catalyst for 35 to get this offense going. And looking like now they're going to prevail in this football game at this point and possibly get to the next round. Knocking on the end zone here.
Baker needs a turnover.
Yeah, they got to sell out at this point.
Williams with the ball. Does not get into the end zone. Dylan Cage, the senior, trying to prevent his prep football career from ending tonight.
Yeah, just importantly, a score in the touchdown. I mean, obviously, if you score the touchdown, the likelihood is that you'll go on. But, you know, if you just grind this clock out, again, Baker can't stop it. You got 3 more opportunities here to run the football.
Got plenty of time on the play clock. They shouldn't be in a rush to snap it.
And again, that's something else that okay, it looks like he's holding up here. I think they've gotten the message to him.
10 seconds on the play clock.
You don't want to snap this till he gets down to 2.
Williams Stays on his feet. Touchdown! McDonogh 35. They're headed to the semifinals with 2:42 to go. 5-yard run for number 5.
Well, this may be the most exciting 5-yard run that you can have. It looked like they had, and you see his shirt untucked. They grabbed him by the shirt, thinking that they had pulled him down, and he fights through that and then crosses the field and able to get in the end zone. This is a phenomenal run by Williams. We talked about his strength, his drive, his ability to run over people, but look at there, great balance. And then another good move there by the goal line.
We've referred to it as old school football quite a few times tonight. But with that tearaway jersey, it kind of reminds me of Earl Campbell. He's not as big as Earl Campbell, but that kind of a run, and the extra point is good by David Green. And it's a 19-8 lead. It's going to take a lot for Baker to win this football game.
Yeah, and a team that doesn't like to go
fast. Flag flies.
It's going to have to go fast here.
Well, that would have, and that is sending the fans here from Baker home. Well, a 15-yard penalty, that at least will force McDonogh 35 to kick from their own 25.
Yeah.
22, that's his first one.
And you see here is again just not being smart. You got to hold it together because now they're going to back you up, and we know Baker has some speedsters in Wyndon that can and Randall that can return this thing. So if they take this football and house it, you know, the game's not over. You come back and kick an onside kick, you may have an opportunity here. Man, this is a huge penalty.
The winner of this game would play the winner of the Sterlington-Jennings game. Could be a long ride up north for McDonogh 35 if they hang on.
Again, these all right, they're starting to walk up. You cannot let this one hit the ground. You got to catch this ball on the fly and give yourself a chance to return it.
Jamarian Henderson will tee it up.
If I'm 35, I'm squibbing this ball. I'm not going to give Baker a chance to house it on me and no time come off the clock.
Wyndon and Clifton back to return for the Buffaloes.
You got to squib this football and then make them drive the field.
And it's actually caught at the 50. So good field position here for the Buffaloes. Maybe not over yet, but they need to score in a hurry.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to take and convert a football team that runs the ball 90% of the time, and now they're going to have to pass it on every down. They're going to have to be in the hurry up and you see Randall there. They're going to have to try to get Randall the football and some of these others going. Some of these receivers an opportunity to make a play.
Damian Knighton, the sophomore quarterback for the Buffaloes, he'll have to grow up in a hurry.
Yeah, if we were doing Zachary and Walker, we'd say it's enough time for 3 more possessions.
Knighton to throw, winds up, going deep. Incomplete.
Yeah, just couldn't keep it in play.
Coy Milton, the freshman running back who has shown flashes of greatness this year. And a nice 45-yard run, one of the bigger offensive plays of the night for the Buffaloes.
I like that first down play call there because, look, even if it's an incompletion, it's a safe call. It's down the sideline, and no time essentially runs. A few seconds run off the clock there.
2nd and 10 here for Knighton and the Buffs.
You got to take your shots, or at least draw a pass interference call or something of that nature.
Flag flies. Oh, they tried to hook it lateral and it worked. That one was interesting.
Got another flag there. I wonder
Yeah,
if it's-
flag on the far side of the field. Flags have been an enemy for the Baker Buffaloes tonight. This might be going against them again.
Illegal formation, 5 men in the backfield on the red teams.
They've had that one called on them a couple times tonight.
Yeah, when they look back at this game, 35 is going to win, or may win. It's not over yet, but they're going to say, Baker is going to say, we beat ourselves. 35 didn't beat us. We beat ourselves. We didn't finish drives. We had too many penalties. And those sorts of things, that's what beat us.
9 penalties for 65 yards for Baker. Ball pushed back to the 47, 2:20 to go.
Trying to get the right alignment. That's what they've been struggling with all night. You heard the offensive coordinator trying to get them lined up.
Well, they wanted to run the screen. It wasn't open, and now here's Eric Randall. He's got it. Can he make something happen? He's got the first down. Now we'll stop the clock.
Yeah, got to get to the line of scrimmage, and you can't get a play called. You got to go ahead and spike it. I know you don't want to kill it down, but you don't have the luxury of letting time burn off if you're not ready to go here.
30-yard pass play.
He's under the center. He might likely just spike it.
Actually, 20-yard pass play, and he spiked it.
Yeah.
.202 to go. Eric Randall getting back on the sidelines there. Hold on a second.
Yeah, that's the last thing you need. I mean, you already been warned once. The second one comes in, then obviously it's going to cost you some yards, and that's the last thing you can have is keep getting pushed back. Tell you what, you still have a lot of Baker faithful here. I mean, I'm looking down here at the crowd. Maybe a couple of them walked away, but, they still got a lot of people here with hope.
This team's been counted out a lot. But here they are in the quarterfinals. Knight, nobody open, and he gets shoved out of bounds very hard by David Ellis. McDonogh 35 has played with a chip on its shoulder. They started off 0-3 this season. They end up winning their final 7 games to finish 7-3 in the regular season, and still no votes in the Class 3A Louisiana Sports Writers Association poll.
Yeah, I mean, talking with Coach Reese and his staff, they said the only people that believed in 35 were the people in their locker room and the people in their huddle. And, sometimes that's what it takes, is having that chip on your shoulder and really out there to prove everyone wrong. And really both of these teams are very similar in that right.
3rd and 14, Knight looking to throw somewhere. Double coverage and knocked away. One more chance here for Baker. It's 4th and 13. Larry Reminick, one of the Ron Eagles there defensively.
Well, and you can just tell, I mean, it's really forcing it for Baker to have to line up and try to air this thing out. Not what they do. You can see they're not comfortable in it. But now Knighton's just a sophomore. He's going to grow into the position, and I'm sure as he gets into that junior and senior year, they're going to be more comfortable slinging the ball around.
Ron Eagles will call timeout. Make sure to get everybody lined up for this 4th down play. Looking for their first trip to the semifinals since 2016. They also went there in 2012.
It's always interesting in this situation. Do you bring pressure or do you sit back in coverage? And, you talk to coaches either way. They're very diverse in what they like to do when the game is on the line. Do you sit back and let a quarterback wait for a receiver to get open? Or do you bring pressure and go ahead and trust some of your defenders back there in one-on-one coverage?
Condell Salik ready to wave goodbye to the Baker Buffaloes and hello to the semifinals.
Well, they got to defend this play first. Not quite out of the woods yet.
Knighton over the middle, and the pass, I think, was deflected, and that will do it.
Yeah, it actually had Wyndon open, running free there, and just unable to deliver the football. I couldn't tell if it was deflected or not. But yeah, this is just not what you see Knighton. It's been a tough night trying to throw the football. Just not what they're comfortable doing. But I tell you what, that young man, being out there as a sophomore and leading a 30 seed to the third round of the playoffs is really an incredible feat, and that's what the coach is telling him right there. Hold your head up. You got a lot of football in front of you.
They'll take a knee, and then they'll let the clock run. Victory formation for McDonogh 35 as Armstrong takes the snap. Let's look at our play of the game. Happened moments ago in the fourth quarter. Fourth down for McDonogh 35. They decide to throw the football, and a great pass and catch. Manuel Armstrong to Dwayne Dales. That would set up the third touchdown of the night for McDonogh 35, but that was big as Baker was set to get the football with a chance to come back down the other end of the field and take the lead. Manuel Armstrong had some nice throws. A few of them went to Dwayne Dales.
Yeah, had two throwing touchdowns on the night, so it's a good night for Armstrong. Made the adjustments and really, I think, changed the tone of the 35 offense in the second half.
Another snap here. They just got to snap it one more time, and that will be it. Dales, 4 catches for 51 yards. Win number 255 for Wayne Reese Sr. And another trip to the semifinals for the legendary coach.
Yeah, congratulations to Coach Reese. And nobody's more deserving than that guy and the career that he has had and the struggles, as you mentioned, with 35 going into the charter school program, but now got his guys in a position to compete for a state championship.
And that will do it as they snap it one more time. Tough end to the season for Baker, but for McDonogh 35, it survived and advanced as they go on the road up to Baton Rouge. And they come away with the victory, knocking off Cinderella here tonight. The 30th seeded Buffaloes just didn't have any more magic left. They ran into a great defense and a senior quarterback that made some plays. And you can say, Jason, that might have also been the difference in this game. A senior QB making winning plays where Baker's sophomore QB, Damian Knighton, still trying to learn how to make those type of plays. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll hear from a McDonogh 35 Ron Eagle. Stay tuned. More of Game Time when we come back.
Tonight's Game Time Player of the Game is brought to you by Peak Performance. At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete and everyone. Stronger, faster, better. Choose Peak. Check out the stories behind the games. Visit yourview.com/Louisiana.
Our slogan is real service, real people, and I think in these opportunities we're able to really show that. We call on our communities a lot for support, and of course certainly we have a lot of customers. It's a terrible tragedy, certainly, but it gives us the opportunity to give back. And the best thing about Farm Bureau is the people, and I think you can see that right here today.
Hi, we are live with the PPTV network, where one of the top athletes is about to make his important decision. We know his character, and nothing will hold him back.
I'm glad to have my family and friends here for this choice. It's more than my career. It will affect the rest of my life. I choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
The decision is in. Why choose Peak?
Their reputation and their record of success is unmatched.
When it matters most, another patient chooses Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
Hey, Joe Martin here. You've seen our commercials over the years, and you may be wondering, what's in it for me? Well, ITI Technical College has been selected by Forbes magazine as a top 32-year college. But even more than that, the reason we do this is you. Our tagline is for a better life, And we mean that, for you to be able to have the life you've always dreamed about, to do the things for your family you've always dreamed about. And it can begin here, where we are dedicated to your success, because here at ITI, the reason we do it is you.
You're watching Game Time on YurView. For more in-depth coverage of the top players around, recruiting updates, behind-the-scenes access, and more, check out YurView.com.
Final score, McDonogh 35 advances to the semifinals, beating the 30th seeded Baker Buffaloes 19-8. Let's look at our player of the game. The 5'8", 185-pound senior running back, Steveland Williams, didn't run for a lot of yards, but he also played a little defense tonight. Gets an interception there right before halftime. But this is what he's more known for, bursting through the middle of the line of scrimmage. Gets a touchdown run there, and then how about this run? All the determination in the world to get into the end zone.
That's an old school run in an old school football game. Good job by him performing on offense and defense.
Set it down to the field. Kate Adams is standing next to Steveland Williams.
Well, I've got one of the stars of the game with me right here. Steveland, just tell me about tonight. I mean, a big interception right before the half, and then that huge touchdown reception at the end of the fourth. I mean, what does it mean for you to be able to basically come out and do what your team needs you to do?
I mean, first off, I would just like to give a huge props to this Baker team. They played great against us. I mean, they put up a fight with us. But on second thought, I love my team. My team, they knew never to give up on me, and I never gave up on myself. I just do what it takes to get this win.
Well, I heard right before we came on this interview, you were just saying how much you loved your school, and I know that you're so proud to be able to play for the Ron Eagles and McDonogh 35. It's been since 2016 that the Ron Eagles have been to the quarterfinals or the semifinals, so now you guys have a second shot at it here in 2019. Just talk about what y'all need to continue to do to make it all the way to the Dome.
I mean, just don't change anything at all. I mean, we just do what you gotta do. Do what we've been doing all playoff, this whole playoff run. Just stick to the same thing. I mean, we can't change nothing because it's a great team. We got great guys on the team, and we just know we gotta put up a fight every step of the way, one game at a time.
Well, the 255th win for your head coach, Wayne Reese. What is it like being able to learn from a guy like him?
I mean, he's one of the best coaches that ever coached me. I mean, he's great. His schemes are amazing, and I'm just blessed to be the team to give him all these wins. It feels amazing for real.
Well, Steveland, I'm going to let you go celebrate with your teammates now. Congratulations tonight, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you,
guys.
Thanks a lot, Kate. Congratulations to McDonogh 35. A hard-fought victory on the road as they defeat the Baker Buffaloes. Baker scored on the first possession of the football game, and it looked like it was going to be a tough night for McDonogh 35's defense, but they shut them down. Again, a lot of self-inflicted errors tonight for the Baker Buffaloes. They'll look back at this game and say, what if? But McDonogh 35 was certainly the better team tonight.
Yeah, and I really think McDonogh 35 won the adjustments at halftime.
Yes.
You know, because Baker, as you mentioned, was just moving the ball down the field. Granted, they were getting some penalties that were affecting those drives, but I'm sure Baker thought that they could just come right back out and smash the ball down the field. 35 was able to take that away, and not only that, on offense, Armstrong was able to make some plays through the air that I think opened up to score just enough points to squeak out a win here tonight.
Let's take a look at the highlights from this quarterfinal matchup in Class 3A. This was the opening drive, a touchdown run. Just not enough of this tonight for the Baker Buffaloes as Desmond Winden into the end zone, and then an interesting play here on the punt after Baker's defense stopped McDonogh on its first drive of the night. It hits a Baker defender, and then Manuel Armstrong, a beautiful throw into the end zone. Nice touchdown, Renwick Doyle. The interception towards the end of the first half. Steveland Williams, one of two turnovers for the Baker Buffaloes tonight. And then Williams running the ball in the second half, a touchdown there in the fourth quarter. Big play on fourth down, Manuel Armstrong hitting Dwayne Dales, and then that would lead to this TD run by Steveland Williams. Baker could not get anything going at all in a last desperation drive. Our final stats in this one, again, Baker wins the total yardage battle, but Who would have thought McDonogh 35, if they only ran for 64 yards in this game, would still come away with the victory, but mistakes by the Buffaloes, good defense by McDonogh 35, and let's face it, Manuel Armstrong had a nice game. I said it towards the end of the regulation. A difference in this game, Manuel Armstrong, the senior QB, made winning plays, while the sophomore QB for Baker, Damian Knighton, is still growing up a little bit.
Yeah, what a luxury to have Armstrong to be able, when the run game gets stopped, for him to come out, rely on your senior, make some big plays. The other two categories, the turnovers, obviously Baker lost that department, and what's not up here is the number of penalties. I don't have the total, but I can guarantee you Baker lost the penalty game as well.
Yeah, they had 9 penalties, and Baker also 0 for 7 on 4th down tonight. Manuel Armstrong 8 of 14 for 145 yards and a touchdown. That will do it for tonight's broadcast of this quarterfinal matchup in Class 3A. Want to thank Baker High School and McDonogh 35 for allowing us to bring this game to you tonight. For everyone involved in the broadcast, Eric Coleman, the executive producer for Game Time. The producer in the truck, Kim Kiat. Walter Volpatti, our director. Kate Adams down on the sidelines. Tommy Cooper, our statistician. For Jason DeQuare, I'm Jeff Palermo. McDonogh 35 heading to the semifinals. Thanks for watching Game Time.
Game Time on YurView has been brought to you by Podna's Barbecue. Slow-cooked, fall-off-the-bone perfection and the best baked beans in America. Visit Baton Rouge. It's not just the capital city, it's the hub of all things Louisiana. Find out more about all the Red Stick has to offer at visitbatonrouge.com. Monogram Express. We make ordinary gifts extraordinary. And by Louisiana Lift. At Louisiana Lift, we're always on call. Check out YurView.com for in-depth high school football coverage all season long.
This throbbing neck pain was so bad it moved to my shoulders and was causing severe headaches. Then a friend suggested I choose Peak. 2 weeks later, the pain was completely gone.